that power as soon as I plug it in. The stick is going to plug in.
Today's the day.
Alright, 1 minute delay.
Yeah. Keep your mouse on for now. And then take it off when you go home.
Okay.
Is there Ethernet here?
Ethernet, yeah. But let's get the cable on the box. Yeah.
Step into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, well, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Hey, good looking.
Hey.
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 You talking to me?
Hey. You are looking
No,
good this
you're
morning,
looking
buddy.
good. No, you're looking good.
You look the best out of everybody. Thank you so much. Even at this time of the day, you look resplendent. You look amazing. Get up, get out of bed, greet the day. A very good morning. My name is Graham Richards.
My name is Carl Wasty. It is so lovely to see you this morning. And the thing is, I may not be able to see you, but I'm imagining you, as you said, get out of bed, getting ready.
Nice pajamas, I'm imagining, as well.
That's correct.
Nice hot cup of coffee.
Do you hear the kettle?
Yeah.
I hear the kettle now. It's going.
The day has started, man.
That's it.
No, it really is. It's a new day. It's Friday Eve. It's Thursday. Just one more day to survive until the weekend, baby. But let's dial it back a note here. Of course, March the 3rd was World Wildlife Day. And why that's so significant, of course, an opportunity to focus on our amazing wild, that natural resource that we have here in South Africa. And we will find any excuse to put a spotlight on our environment and the wildlife within it. And today, Renee Levener from the Two Oceans Aquarium, a good friend of the show. She's going to be helping us focus this year on the penguin, the humble penguin.
Yes.
But we know in dire need of focus in the current climate. And this morning we get to learn what role they play in the environment and ecosystem, and it's a very important one.
In our modern ecosystem, tech is very important. That's why we brought in Grant Hines. He is back in studio this time. He pretty much shares the top tech you should get to enhance your safari experience. And on the lighter side of life, we learn about the Comedy Wildlife Photography Awards and how photographers have captured wildlife in the most hilarious of scenarios.
I don't know if you've ever, I've kind of become an avid follower. It is hilarious, absolutely brilliant. The lengths these photographers have to go to capture these moments and images, but they are hilarious. So you've got a little bit of everything. We're going to be in the kitchen, and we're going to be having a little bit of fun. We're going to be exploring tech, and of course we've got some unbelievable live music, so you want to stick around for that. But right now, let's connect with the team. They got the moves, they got the looks, they got the attitude.
Yes, they do, baby.
Good morning, South Africa. Hey, tada! Good morning, what's happening, South Africa? Igamalam Gukusha Adams. It's a beautiful start to a brand new day, right?
Yes, indeed, of course. Good morning, you beautiful souls. It's Klein Vrydag, it's Thursday. My name is Raul de Mone, and we are talking about so much this morning. But we want to talk to you, Mzansi, and find out what you would do when you're on your wildlife adventure and what your favorite piece of tech might be. Now, I know, Kukli, a lot of people are obviously going to probably say a camera, but I'd love to see if Mzansi has any other crazy ideas when it comes to wildlife? What would you take into the wild?
I mean, speaking to Nature Boy, I'm kind of panicking right now, but I absolutely love the Galaxy Buds Live, the wireless earphones that Samsung has. It's the best piece of technology for me to carry in the outdoors together with this watch, because it's not like I clean, man. Yeah, bona xa ndisithi I clean. It's smooth. As in, like, you don't entangle yourself.
You're synced up,
you're
you're
out
all
there
good,
living your
you're
life.
connected.
When you're walking or exploring, it's almost like it's the soundtrack to your life. You know, when you're watching like a series or whatever, then in the background there's music.
I'm picturing you in
It's that
slow-mo
vibe.
walking through the jungle and you just got the wildlife behind you. This could be the next music video for Kukla Adams. Let us know what you think, of course, and let us know what tech you'd bring through when you're on your wildlife adventure. We'd love to know, but before we get to it, let's find out what's happening first up in the news in and around the world.
Thank you very much, team. A very good morning to you, South Africa. Uncle Tebsy reporting at 6 o'clock with the news. Starting off here in South Africa, where scientists have discovered that those infected with the new South African COVID-19 variant have a level of protection from previous and current circulating COVID-19 variants. Professor Tulio de Oliveira of the KwaZulu-Natal Research Informatics and Sequencing Program said that this means variant was able to neutralize itself from other variants, including the variant which circulated in the first wave. Meanwhile, the country has recorded 95 new deaths, bringing the death toll to 50,366. Justice and Correctional Services Minister Ronald Lamola says resources will be found to ensure that the State Capture Commission concludes its work. He said they were currently engaging National Treasury and the Commission to ensure that it finalized its mandate. Some 800 million rand has already been spent on the Commission, which was expected to conclude its work by March, and this has now been extended to June. Lamola was answering questions during a Ministerial Peace and Security Cluster oral reply session in the National Assembly. In international news, Ghana and the UK have signed a new trade agreement with £1.2 billion that will allow free access and tariff reductions for certain goods between the two countries. This means that Ghanaian products such as bananas, tinned tuna and cocoa will benefit hugely from tariff-free access to the UK. It will also support jobs in Ghana, paving the way for further economic growth. And Ghana's top imports from the UK include textiles, machinery, mechanical appliances and chemical products. U.S. police say that they have bolstered security in Washington after intelligence uncovered a possible plot to breach the Capitol today. The threat comes nearly 2 months after Donald Trump supporters stormed the Capitol building and laid siege to Congress, an event that shook the citadel, or rather, well, the American democracy. And of course, meanwhile, Germany's domestic intelligence agency has placed the country's largest opposition party under surveillance as a potential threat to the country's constitution. And members of the right-wing Alternative for Germany, or AfD party, said that the move was politically motivated and aimed at weakening them. And now news concerning a small, shy and mostly nocturnal mammal. Yesterday was World Wildlife Day, and worldwide much focus fell on a small, shuffling, solitary, shy and mostly nocturnal mammal, the pangolin. And that was, of course, it has landed on the world stage because of the erroneous belief in some quarters that it has healing properties. The pangolin has few natural enemies, but researchers said that it presently holds the title of the most trafficked mammal in the world because the tough scales covering its small body are sought after for use in Eastern medicine. And Asian pangolins presently face extinction, and subsequently African pangolins are being targeted. And a pangolin eats ants and termites and endears itself deeply to those who do not hunt or eat it, partly because of its gleaming blueberry eyes and partly because it is so gentle. And one can only fervently hope that, of course, the increasing prompts from various quarters for civil society engagement in conserving the pangolin will lead to effective action, because protecting our wildlife does also mean that we are protecting our own lives and our own livelihoods. And that's where we leave it for now. Here is a look at what's happening in sports with Graham.
Let's start with Rugby Sevens. The final leg of a revamped and shortened HSBC World Rugby Sevens series will take place in Cape Town this December. The South African leg of the series will return to Cape Town Stadium from the 10th to the 12th of December after a COVID-enforced absence, of course, in 2020. The 2021 World Series will include 5 women's and 4 men's rounds and is scheduled to kick off in Paris with back-to-back women's tournaments this coming May. Then on to football, a rather uneventful evening of football in the Premier Soccer League locally as both fixtures ended in goalless draws. Match between Chippa United and Cape Town City FC ended 0-0 at the Sisa Dukashe Stadium, and the Citizens remain 7th on the log as a result, while the Chitty Boys, they sit in 12th place. And then in the second fixture last night, Golden Arrows and Baraka FC also played out to a goalless draw in their PSL encounter at the Sugar Ray Olo Stadium. Then on to football abroad. Manchester United registered their 3rd successive goalless draw. That's in all competitions after drawing 0-0 against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. The Red Devils are now 14 points adrift of log leaders Manchester City. Now the results from last night: 3rd place Leicester City were only able to claim a 1-1 draw against Burnley at Turf Moor. And bottom of the table, Sheffield United, they survived more than 30 minutes with 10 men to record only their 4th Premier League win, beating Aston Villa 1-0. Then in the Premier League tonight, Fulham will take on Tottenham, I'm sure looking to capitalise on last night's results. That one at 8 p.m. Then Liverpool play host to Chelsea in a big one, the late game at 10:15 tonight. That's where we leave our sport for this hour. Let's take our first look at some of your beautiful sunrise pictures.
Thanks a lot, Graham. We love to start the mornings off with a glimpse of how some of our viewers are experiencing their part of South Africa. So we kick off this morning with Letloganola Bridget from Nailstroom, who shared this lovely blue sky with some golden hues. You're in for a hot yet pleasant day, which will reach a maximum of 32 degrees Celsius. Mpumelelo Ka is back again from Pietermaritzburg and was showing off this image received showing the sun rising through the trees. Your area will be partly cloudy today with a strong thunderstorm set to hit the area this afternoon. Do be careful. Your maximum will be 30 degrees. If you would like to see your photo featured during one of our segments, all you need to do is head over to the Expresso Facebook page and share your photo and location with us. While we love our local viewers, we also need to acknowledge our growing international audience tuned in via YouTube and the Africa channel. Today we briefly touch on Oklahoma City, the largest city as well as the capital of the state of Oklahoma. Oklahoma City has a very active severe weather season from March through June, especially during April and May, being the center of what is colloquially referred to as Tornado Alley. It is prone to especially frequent and severe tornadoes as well as very severe hailstorms. A maximum of 20 degrees is forecast for the area today. It'll be partly sunny with a passing shower as well as breezy in the afternoon. The annual spectacle in Navi, Mumbai city in India is drawing bird watchers from all over to see Mumbai lakes turning into a sea of pink, as this is the time of the year when populations of great flamingos that breed in high altitude lakes, which may freeze over in the winter, migrate to warmer areas. Thousands of flamingos have already arrived in Mumbai in their quest to find food and better nesting grounds, turning the lakes and wetlands of Western India into an unforgettable sight. Flamingos won't migrate, though, until the weather turns foul. So when the season is a mild one, they may not end up migrating at all. Due to global warming, their migration patterns appear to be getting shorter and shorter. This is one of the reasons why flamingo watchers are urging authorities to do more to ensure the annual migration pattern is not disturbed because of construction activity in the area. That's a wrap of that weather news for now. Let's take a look at the temperatures across South Africa. Polokwane, let's start with you. Good morning. 15 your low to a high of 29 today. 30 the maximum in Mbombela from a low of 17. Pretoria, your high is 29 today from a low of 18 degrees. Johannesburg, 28 the maximum from a minimum of 17. Mahikeng, 16 to 30 is your temp today. Klerksdorp, 31 the max. That is from a low of 16. Kimberley starts at 18, then goes up to 33 a little later. Bloemfontein, you'll be 30 as a maximum today, 14 the low. Richards Bay, 19 to 31. Pietermaritzburg, a 40% chance of thunder showers, 30 the high from a low of 17. 22 is the low to a high of 29 in Durban. Mthatha, 17 to 30 with a 40% chance of thunder showers. East London, 19 to 25. Cradock, 14 is the low to a high of 34 degrees. Gqeberha, 18 to 24, 25% chance of precipitation in your area. A 58% chance in George, though, 24 the high from a low of 17. Cape Town, 17 is the low there too, 21 the high. Worcester, 14 to 29. Sutherland, 9, and that is to a high of 24 later. And then, of course, Uppington, top of the temperatures, 36 degrees, and that is from a low of 18. Thanks a lot for sharing your sunrise photos. Please keep them coming. Send them to the Expresso Facebook page. We'd love to add it to this insert.
Oh, thank you so much, Paul Westy, for letting us in on what the skies have in store for us this Thursday. Umbrella Betuna. You know what else is in store this Thursday here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show?
We've brought some perfect gentlemen in. We've got the perfect man to entertain us today, but not just one man, not two men. We've got 5 perfect men. It's Perfect 5 SA, and they're coming at us today and entertaining us all the magic, and we'll see them soon after this, and you do not want to go anywhere.
No,
it's going to be a banger. Cheers to that.
Only you can make my day. It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. Of course, you're still locked in. It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show here on SABC3. We are live, and today's musical performers are a talented group of 5 men from my neck of the woods too. It's Retreat and Steenberg, and those are the areas of Cape Town, and they are called Perfect 5th SA. Now, they're a versatile outfit that plays many different genres, and they cite legends like UB40 and Queen as their inspiration.
I mean, that sounds great. I mean, they're joining us ahead of their debut album launch. That's this Saturday. And we're on the couch with the band's manager and bassist, Alex van Us, as well as the lead vocalist, David Jacobs, to find out more about them. I'm excited. When you call yourself Perfect 5th, there's got to be a reason why the 5th is there and the perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, let's find out.
Okay, let's
take it to it. So, Alex, guys, welcome, of course.
Thanks.
It's so good having you in the studio this morning. I can't wait to hear all that soulfulness, the cheers, and everything that's going to be coming through. But I got to ask, man, I believe you started this at like 15 years old, something crazy like that. what happened? How did you start this whole thing? Where did the inspiration come from? And yeah, tell me about this journey, man.
Okay, so I grew up in a musical family. My dad was a bass player in church. My brother did music at High. And then when I reached high school, and that's when I started my journey, like you said, my journey. Started playing it at school, and then I was first the guitarist.
Okay.
And then from there, my teacher came to me and asked me, Alex, because I played acoustic guitar, so I couldn't hear myself because there was a whole brass section.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I decided to change over to bass, I was so happy because now I'm playing through an amp. I can hear myself. And then from there, it started for me, and then my group of friends, obviously we decided, let's start a band off from school and not just play school music, but then venture on our own journey.
Okay, so now when you're in a journey and you call yourself Perfect Fifth,
yeah,
you have to. There's going to be some contention as to which one of the 5 are perfect. So, David, I'm going to go to you for this.
Okay.
Obviously, you've got a whole lot of personalities. There's 5 of you in this band.
No, definitely.
And I mean, I think you said earlier that you were the perfect one. Did you tell Alex? No. Okay, that's fine. Right. So I wanted to. What is it about the group of you guys that works so well? I mean, you've got a couple of personalities all in the same band, different personalities. What is it about you guys that work?
I mean, you know, these guys are like really talented, and like you said, we have different personalities, which means we all have different mindsets, and like Alex told us, like we're very hard to manage. We work on his nerves so much, and like, you know, what makes us gel so well is that we take that individuality and that uniqueness and we gel it together, and we just come together and we with one mindset and we just make music. And you know, we also push each other so much that it works on my nerves also sometimes. Like sometimes I'm tired, and then this guy wants me to write new songs. So yeah, that's what makes it work, man. It's all about pushing each other and like the uniqueness of it.
Yeah.
I love what you're saying, because it's the fact that you can stay unique as an individual, but you've got this underlying goal, which is music, and that's the glue, and that's that love and passion bond. Now, another passion, I believe, is not only the music for you guys, but obviously, I mean, coming from the flats in certain areas, Steenberg, Retreat, and I mean, a lot of neighboring areas as well. I mean, it's not the best of places as a kid growing up, of course. You face a lot of external factors. I mean, there's drugs, there's gangsterism, and a whole lot of other temptations luring you in. So I believe it's one of your missions as a band as well, to kind of work with the youth, trying to get them to lure them away from these negatives and to allow them to find their passion. But how exactly are you aiming to achieve this? Because I love it, first off. I got to say props to you guys, because I see these issues so prominently at the moment. But lovely youth talent like this, it's so refreshing to see. So what is the actual aim and achievement here in trying to get them off the streets like that?
So growing up, we exposed to a lot of things, when I say things, and in the beginning for me, music is what kept me off the streets, and that's how we want to help the community by creating a platform or a school, a music school, to teach these children so that they can also have something to do at home. Because I think it comes from not having anything to do. You're going to go outside, you're going to go stand on the corner, and that's how you get lured into doing the wrong thing. And also the people you mix with. So if you mix with the right crowd and people with the right mindset within a school, so you're learning as well an instrument of your choice, and that way it will help you, because now you can use that gift or what you're getting taught and use it in the industry and get booked from artists and get gigs in, and you can make a career out of music, no matter if you're working on original music or not. There's always opportunity for musicians.
Man, I love that. I got to just say, and the fact that you're then also allowing to find your passion, which is going to keep you busy enough to not be wasting time in the streets. Love it, love it, love it.
You know, these guys have got a launch coming up, and you are going to get the Taste Buds Tantalized. They're going to perform for you right here on Expresso. Do get your tickets at Web Tickets. The launch is this Saturday. Life is a Journey is their album, and you're going to get a couple of tastes of those throughout the show. Perfect Fifth. Stick around for them.
Seem like amazing, guys. Can't wait for that performance. But right now, we're back in the kitchen to whip up something truly scrumptious. We all know and love a good old classic French toast for breakfast. In fact, I will eat, admittedly, an entire loaf of bread, Frenched. But have you ever had a masala-flavored French toast? I have not. Chef and co-founder of the very popular food blog, My Hungry Husband, Ilham Anwar, now joins us in the kitchen to share a recipe for this Indian twist on an old favorite. Ilham, what inspired her to make this? I'm really keen to know because I sense there is an emotional tie-in here.
Yes.
Ilham, a very good morning. Welcome.
Morning.
You didn't bring with a hungry husband?
No,
I will be that guy today. I will be your hungry cohort for today. But this is quite an interesting. It feels like something that someone should have done before because it's a simple idea, but brilliant.
Yes, it is. And so I grew up eating this. And my grandmother, you know, she would make this for us on a weekend. And it's a really great meal because it's quite substantial. If you think of, you know, if you're thinking of French toast and it's just the sweet one,
Yeah.
this one is
Oh,
just
no,
a lot more substantial.
I'm all about savory French toast.
Yeah.
Really, like I'll make enough so I can have both.
Yeah.
But you've got to
Yeah.
have a good, you know, savory start. Beautiful stuff. So what it's going into? I see you've very controversially you've placed a bowl of coriander between you and I don't know if that's to keep me away.
And
Hey?
I'll just move this over here, just so that we don't start a war or anything.
Thank you. No,
Okay.
I don't want to start any divisions in this kitchen, especially if you're going to be whipping up something as scrumptious as this. So I'm guessing we're kind of starting with the basics of a French toast, but
Yes.
how do we twist it up?
So basics of a French toast, we've got our eggs and our milk. So I'm just going to put in a splash of milk for this. And then I'm just going to add a pinch of salt, some coriander and some cumin, some ground coriander and cumin. And then we've also got some turmeric. And if you like chili, you can add that in.
Yes.
So we're just gonna add everything in. And then maybe for the chili, I'll just do like a little bit of chili. And you can totally add garlic if you like garlic with your eggs early in the morning.
Love that.
And then we're going to whisk this up.
I suppose that is you think about it. If you're going to be heading out for the rest of your day in a very social or work environment, if you're going to add the garlic, just kind of think that one
Yeah.
through, you know?
So that's it. That's just your custard base. And then we're going to dip our bread in here.
Do you have a particular preference with the kind of bread that you use for this? 'Cause
So, you know, you can use ciabatta or sourdough, whatever really you have in your
pantry. And
Yeah, in your
I suppose
pantry or freezer.
The advantage being that if you've got bread that's kind of on the wrong
Yes.
side of its lifespan,
And,
this
you
is
know,
a great way to use
even
it up. Yeah.
the ends of the bread, like nobody ever likes to, I don't know why nobody ever likes to eat the ends of the bread, but when you've got those kind of big, chunky
Yeah.
pieces and they're going a bit stale and dry, this is actually just like really
Give it a
perfect.
good soak and a
Yeah.
good rejuvenate.
You
All right, so
pop
you've
that
used
in
liberal
there.
oil because I think that's often where my French toast will fall apart is, you know, if it, in the cooking of it. Or I'll soak it for too long and then end up with like an omelette with a little bit of bread in it.
So if you are making a sweet French toast, you could also use butter. It would add a really nice flavor to your French toast.
Is this something that what is your husband's name?
Kashif.
What is his favorite breakfast? Is this something that
He loves eggs, so he does like this, but his favorite would probably be like scrambled eggs and a croissant or something like that. Yeah, very fancy.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay. This is fine for me. Okay, I'm not as fancy. This is just perfect for me. What's the trick when cooking French toast? Because you obviously want it to kind of cook through, but without burning on the exterior. Is it a lower heat for longer? How do you get that right?
I think, you know, with something like this, if you've let the bread soak for quite a while, you do want everything to cook, but you don't want it to be dry, because that's the worst. You know, you still want it to be kind of like moist in the center, a little bit of, but I think it depends how you like your eggs, whether you like to eat your eggs when they're still a little bit on the soft side.
Softer or for sure.
So you can see you've got some really nice color on there,
Golden
brown. And we're just gonna flip the other one.
Oh, look at that. That looks beautiful.
And
Popping with the yellow with the turmeric. That's cool.
yeah, and if you like coriander, you can add coriander to your egg
your
mixture.
batter.
Yeah, But we're not doing that
I shall
today.
not.
We're just going to sprinkle a little bit on top.
Well, you've said that you could still convert me. Maybe this is the recipe that gets me across the line, because I feel like I'm missing out on like a great part of life, and it's so fundamental to this style of cooking as well. Oh, that looks beautiful.
And it's really quick, and you can make this for the whole family.
For sure. You're only limited by the size of the loaf of bread. Really.
Yeah, basically. And a little bit of coriander. Well, that's a lot of coriander.
That was a lot. It's
a lot
fine.
of coriander.
Girl, it's your breakfast. It's your choice. So do you think hubby would approve?
Yes, he would.
Well, I certainly do. It looks absolutely beautiful. If you'd like this ingredients list so you can create this beautiful masala French toast yourself, you can find it on expressoshow.com. And I think all that's left is I'm going to have a taste of this, because I've earned the right, and I'm going to see if I can do it with the coriander as well. You're a genius in the kitchen.
Thank you.
I can't understand why your husband is ever hungry, because you are just so amazing. Look, the coriander completely ruined it.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast show, Expresso, here on SABC3. If you have just joined us, well, you're just in time for some tech talk. Going green is not only beneficial for the planet, but also for our wallets in the long run as well. In our homes, where we spend most of our time and consume the most personal use of power and also create the most waste, this is the place to enact the most change. Grant Hines joins us this morning to go through a few excellent examples of green gadgets gadgets rather you may find useful to have in your home. And when we speak of technology, we kind of like, it's intimidating, but iponile man, the conversation, don't worry.
Absolutely. I think the first thing people think when they think technology in the home is the easiest stuff. So your tablets, your phones and things like that. But there's so many other things. The first one's got a very interesting name, Grant. PVB. What is it?
Photovoltaic Venetian blinds, PVVB. So you know what a Venetian blind is? It's those blinds that you know that you can like scroll and then they tilt like that. So basically, it acts as a way to store electricity. So you can collect light from the sun, light from school, right?
Yeah.
You know. People do biology and natural science in school. You with me?
Yes.
And science, Photovoltaic Venetian blinds. So you can then use those blinds to catch the rays of the sun and convert that into electricity. That's becoming something that's going to be more and more prolific. And there's no reason why we can't use things in our house that are existing, you know, to capture that. You know, it's the same kind of way. You know, when the house gets hot, it's your house is actually retaining energy, right?
Energy,
so you want to be able to like capture that energy in some way. Most of that's through light, and then turn that into power.
So could you power up your entire household just with power off of this PVVB?
I was about to ask.
Well, not yet, because that kind of power is inefficient. So we're getting to a stage where the more resources that we put into solar panel technology has increased a lot over the last like 30, 40 years. And we are getting much more, less waste when it comes to capturing that. That's the biggest problem. There's a lot of waste when capturing light. And the more power that we can capture from the sun, which we can, the capacity is there, the better solar power is going to get. But even if it just means that that blind is charging your bedside lamps or your phone or something, it helps you to get off the grid just a little bit more.
Yes, absolutely.
But something now that we can change immediately is LED light bulbs.
Yes, LED bulbs. You might go into the store and you go, I know a lot of people don't like LED light bulbs. They're going there, I like the warm light of the house. I don't like this white light.
They look different, right?
But LED light bulbs have grown and increased to such stage that you can get warm household LED light bulbs, and they are incredibly efficient. You know, in some cases, you can save up to 85% of your electricity. The reason that normal incandescent light bulbs are so inefficient is they do create heat, and the energy that they're building, like, becomes heat and emits instead of light. You want light from a light bulb, and then you need to like switch on your air conditioner to cool down your house and a bunch of other things. But it's better to have LED than.
And then you've got these things, these smart power strips.
Strips.
They're like, what are they?
So a smart power strip is also something that you can buy. A power strip usually saps quite a lot of passive electricity. So it's just usually constantly sapping electricity. A smart power strip works out if things are being used on the power strip, and then it can disconnect them automatically, which is very cool. And it should save you a fair amount of electricity. But the thing is, it's one of those things, it's one brick in the wall, right? It's you can save a little bit. For instance, I've got power strips that have a lot of things on them.
So you've got more than one power strip. Ooh,
I've got like, I don't like, there's going to be electricians. I know Henny's probably upstairs getting really upset with me when I say I've got power strips plugged into power strips. And I know that's bad. I know that's bad. And I'm trying to sort it out. And this
Let's
is
be
one
more energy efficient and find more strategic ways with this. Wow.
Shame, Grant. No, we're not chastising you for having more than one power strip.
No, I love it. I'm here for it.
And then this one is very interesting. Solar-powered generators.
Yeah, so we use like generators. Everybody in South Africa is familiar with a generator thanks to load shedding.
I'd like one.
The way you keep a generator power is through fuel. You've got to go to a petrol station and pump it up. And if you don't have fuel, it's not going to work. And obviously, it's really noisy. Everybody that's got like you know, like a generator at home knows that it's just like, oh, and that thing kicks off. It kicks off. You know, you go to that grocery store and they've got a generator and the whole place sounds like a jumping castle. It does, right? It's the same sound. But solar panel technology means that we can use those generators using solar panels now, which is great. So it's not, again, it's not as efficient an energy source right now. And when I say efficient, I mean like the amount of light versus the amount of power that it outputs. But here's my pro tip with any generator. If you can can power your router at home, so you can get internet into your house, and if you can power your phone
Laptop,
or
for
your
example.
laptop, you are good to go. It could be as if load shedding never happened. You just can't make a cup of coffee, you know what I'm saying?
The really fantastic
that.
thing is that there's always some new gadgets coming up that we can take advantage of and really introduce into our homes and really turn our homes into these green spaces. And I think a lot of people are really starting to pay attention into that side of life. And hopefully there's a lot more that we can do to reduce the amount of energy that we use, right? that we consume.
definitely.
Yeah, it's great for the environment and it's great for our pockets.
Love it.
all about
If you see
sustainability.
anything, it is. It is. And if you see anything that catches your eye that helps us go green, let us know. Expresso Morning Show, SABC3 with the hashtag Expresso Show.
Sustainability is at the tip of everyone's tongue, and for good reason. If it's not, it should be. Now, did you know that a tap that is leaking at a rate of just 1 drip a second could waste more than 12,000 litres of water a year? That is
Crazy, G, indeed. Now, as you can see, it all starts with the little things. Now, even your morning cup of coffee can make such a big difference. Now, to tell us all about Nespresso's commitment to a more sustainable future, we are joined by the company's global coffee ambassador for the Middle East and African region. It's Yassir Kopetau, and he's all the way from Dubai. Brother, how are you doing this morning?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me again. I'm truly happy to be back. Molweni, everyone. Molweni.
Molweni, right back at you. You can hear in the background that I am making myself a cup, so I hope you don't mind. I just needed to settle in properly.
Please enjoy your cup. I have mine.
I'm so glad. I had no doubt that you would. Thank you so much again for connecting with us. I think Riley and I have become so passionate about this side of what Nespresso does because we've been lucky enough to have a front row seat to really know the extent that you as an organization go to. You've got an incredible goal set. You want to achieve carbon neutrality by 2022. That's not a long, far, way off now. Next year, in fact. How is the company going to achieve this lofty goal?
That's a really interesting question, and thank you for asking it. First of all, I think it's important to remind everyone of what those carbon footprint means. So that the carbon footprint is the amount of carbon dioxide released into the air because of our energy needs. So in everyday life, you need transportation, electricity, food, clothing, and other goods. So it is also true for the coffee industry, but at a larger scale. So what is really interesting in this process is that all our choices make a difference. So Nespresso will achieve carbon neutrality through 3 major initiatives, which are the reduction of carbon emission, the planting of trees in and around coffee farms where Nespresso sources its coffee, and through support and investment in high-quality offsetting projects.
No, I absolutely love what you guys are doing, and the work has already started now, I believe. So, Yassir, what has Nespresso done so far already to kind of protect biodiversity as well as our beautiful nature that we have?
So, in the cultivation of coffee, the answer was simple: trees. So, you see, coffee as a plant is a forest species. So, it's clear that a forest model is the ideal ecosystem for planting coffee. But in most of today's cases, coffee crops are still planted in full sun system, which considerably depletes soils and groundwaters. So that's something that's extremely interesting, because trees are man's best friend and the only way forward if we want nature and agriculture to thrive in harmony. So just on this point, what's really interesting is that all the agroforestry projects that are being designed, they are being designed and developed by the coffee farmers and their organizations. So Nespresso assists them technically, but they choose and plant the trees. They maintain and monitor them and also replant the one that dies. So they will actually plant only native or fruit trees and with a diversity in varieties. So they do not use any chemicals to fertilize the trees. On the contrary, the trees will actually naturally nurture the soil. Trees are one of the best investments you can make on earth. They cost just a few dollars. They take only a few minutes to plant, and they will generate multiple economic and ecosystem services for many years, and that for free.
Yes,
I mean, there are so many key points out there. I think harmony was the one that really rings true for me. And I love the fact that you are, as much as you're investing in the sustainability of the model when it comes to biodiversity and the actual farming practices itself, the same applies to the human capital, to the farmers, to creating sustainable, long-term financial safety for them as well. So it's a complete, excuse the pun, ecosystem that keeps growing and developing. So now that we know what the company is doing, and we're amazed at that, I'm going to put you on the spot now. What are you doing personally, now that you've been exposed to so much knowledge? What are you doing to live more sustainably this year?
I'm always trying to buy products that come with biodegradable packaging. That's one of the first, I would say, focus I have when I do my groceries. I also took a decision a few years ago to eat less meat. We know the production of meat is one of the biggest contributors to climate change, and I'm trying to help reduce the impact this particular industry has on Earth. And obviously, for me, I'm not going to lie, my mindset towards sustainability has been greatly influenced by my 14 years of career at Expresso, and I'm naturally aligning myself with its core sustainable values.
I got to say, we are doing exactly the same thing, my friend. Over this period of lockdown, it's been amazing to see how people have changed their mindset around waste, around what we can do to be less impactful and reduce our own individual carbon footprint. So many trigger points that you guys as an organization are helping to inspire. It's always such a pleasure to connect with you, my friend. Thank you so much for inspiring us and for just bringing us that smile from the other side of the planet. It's so good to connect with you and to see what you as a company are doing to protect coffee down here.
Good choice.
I absolutely love it. Now, G, from what I've learned, I've got to be honest, man, the effort that goes into producing the perfect cup of coffee, it's impressive in itself, but the effort put into creating a more sustainable world, it's just truly remarkable. Now, this means that this cup of coffee doesn't just make me smile, but Mother Nature smiles too.
Love it.
Cheers, brother.
Boy.
It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso here at SABC3, and we asked you on social media something very simple because we are talking about reducing, reusing, and recycling.
Yeah.
And we want to find out how that works in your home. I know it seems like something that is not like top of our list, but it's so important though if you think about how many things. For instance, I don't use a lot of water. I don't have a lot of hair. So the washing process, it's a couple of, like maybe a couple of milliliters.
Very quick.
It's lovely. But there have been a couple of you that have commented, so thank you very much for this. Riaboka Peter says,
yes,
basic, use less amount of water by closing taps.
100% agree with you. And this one comes from Siadile Molefe. Good morning, fam. My parents don't throw shopping plastic away because they use them now and again. Reusing your shopping plastic bags is a very important part of it as well.
Indeed. And Joan Cameron had that same echo with this comment saying, don't buy the plastic carry bags that shops offer you. You pay for them anyway, and they usually end up destroying the ocean, our natural wildlife. Some people are careless and don't dispose of them properly, rather use material bags. Did you hear there was a good reprimand in there
100%.
for everybody? Hey?
I felt that.
Did you feel that too?
Oh, yes.
I feel like I should be sent to a corner. That's what I feel. But thank you very much. Yeah, a proper timeout. If you want to add any more comments, please do. And we want to ask you one thing. How do you reduce, reuse, and recycle in your home?
Yes.
Yep, we really should all be about living a more sustainable life and looking after our planet. I think most importantly, not just for ourselves, but for future generations. It's become so important to me, especially now that I have kids. What are we going to leave them?
Truly, and To Live Life Always is a cleanup project which started in October 2020, and they're creating job opportunities for the unemployed residents of Diepsloot and keeping the streets of Fourways clean.
I love that. So tackling two problems at the same time. Let's take a look at this amazing initiative.
So I started LLA as an initiative 4 months ago. Live Life Always has always been my motto in life, and I decided to turn it into an initiative where we created employment for residents from Diepsloot, education. So I've done a lot of talks under the LLA brand at schools to try and educate kids about plastic pollution, saving the world. Well, the project has been a huge success. We've collected 26,300 bags. It's equivalent to about 171,000 kilograms of plastic off the streets of Fourways in the a large area of the northern suburbs. We've also done a few river cleanups at the Yixkay. And yeah, I mean, it's grown tremendously how we've collected so many bags in such a short period of time.
In a nutshell, I joined Sean, my boss, because we closed the company. I used to work with the company, but we closed the company. I also have passion to clean up the world, to clean up the streets, to clean up the planet. So that's why I say I must join. I agreed to join him. What makes me so proud is because we started this cleanup because we now collected a lot of tons and tons of this litter from the streets.
I've been volunteering with LLA since August when I first saw Sean and Lovemore's post on Facebook. And it's always worried me about the litter that I see lying around. So when I saw them doing it, I asked them if I could volunteer and help. And so I've been with them on every volunteer session since, which is twice a week for an hour or two. And after doing it, you feel absolutely great.
So how the process works with Recycle Warriors SA and LLA is that Sean will notify us in the afternoon of all the locations where they've picked up the bags, whether it be on Main Road, William Nicol, Witkoppen. We then send our trailers out there and our bakkies, and they collect. From that point, it goes back to our depot where it's sorted on site, all the recyclables from the non-recyclables. And what happens there is at the end of the week, we've employed 6 different people that previously didn't have work, and they get paid per kilogram for the work they've done. So we've managed to also create 6 jobs through LLA, which is fantastic.
This project improved my life a lot because I was not working, living on an unemployed level, loitering around Diepsloot community, doing nothing, and Now at least I can able to feed myself, my family, because all member of my family, no one can get a stable income.
Since we worked together with the Live Life Always, I am enjoying this job quite well. Besides collecting the litter, I'm building the bins along the roads, and I paint them, I write them as they are looking at.
We really would like some funding, as much funding as possible, corporates to come on board. They can donate through the Sean Williams Living Creatures Trust, which is a public benefit organisation, which is fantastic for corporates. Also, we are on Back a Buddy fundraising platform, which means you can donate from anywhere around the world. Through the contributions that we received, we were able to employ 20 Diepsloot residents. So since then, we've done 20, we've moved down to 14, now we've got 9. And the idea is to grow back to 20 staff full-time so that we can expand this on in other areas. I mean, for me, it's not just about the northern suburbs, it's about doing this nationally. My whole thing is about cleaning up South Africa and cleaning up the planet.
What a brilliant way to make a system work. It's almost one of those where you think, why has no one thought of this before? There is such a need for jobs and job creation, and there is such an issue with plastic waste in particular. We've got plants that can recycle. Oh man, the wheels are turning.
2 birds,
Well
one
done.
stone, of course. And you can imagine how beautiful this country would look if everybody got involved in something like this.
That's social entrepreneurship at its absolute best. Live life always. We love you. We give you props, man.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso. We're live on SABC3, and there are 5 gentlemen from the next band who are about to take the Expresso stage and show Mzansi exactly why they are known as Perfect Fifth. Now, here they are with a fantastic song, these brothers, and they're going to entertain you, so make sure that you got something nice and comfy in your hand for this performance of a song they call Journey. Enjoy.
Uncertainty creeps up like a shadow alongside the moon. My mind dwelling constantly as I look across the road. Once this world coming to, life ain't precious anymore. Strength from within is added. I'll be living my life instead. Life's like a journey. The journey is life. Life's like a journey. The journey is life. See life come and see life say contradictions will follow. What they want seems to me it's brand new. What they say contradictions will follow. What they want seems to me it's brand new. Yeah. What they say contradictions will follow. What they want seems to me it's brand new. What they say contradictions will follow. What they want seems to me it's brand new. Life's like a journey. The journey is life. Life's like a journey. The journey is life. See life come and see life go. Call it what you will.
Yes, that's it. Perfect fifth. This is the perfect one, and that's the other guys over there. I'm just kidding. Perfect fifth. They have an album launch. Their Life is a Journey album is launching this Saturday. If you want to get tickets, please get them from webtickets.co.za. And if you want to get some more from these guys, stick with us here on Expresso. This is SABC3, and it's time to check on the news of the world. Here's Uncle Tabzi.
Thank you very much. Wasty, tasty. 2 minutes to 7 o'clock here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We take a look at those news headlines. Starting off here at home, Cape Nature has set a number of traps in the Brede River after an unknown number of Nile crocodiles escaped from a commercial breeding farm in Bonneville in the Cape Winelands. Western Cape local government spokesperson James Brent Stein says that yesterday Cape Nature, the police and landowners in the area were going to be patrolling the river at night. The crocodiles are about 1.2 to 1.5 meters long, and they present medium danger to people because they are farmed animals used to regular feeding and do not hunt for food. Scientists have discovered that those infected with the new South African COVID-19 variant have a level of protection from previous and current circulating COVID-19 variants. Professor Tulio de Oliveira of the KZN Research Informatics and Sequencing Program said that this means that the variant was able to neutralize itself from other variants, including the variant which circulated in the first wave. Meanwhile, the country has recorded 95 new deaths, bringing the death toll to 50,366. In international news, at least 38 people were killed in Myanmar yesterday in what the UN described as the bloodiest day since the coup took place a month ago. The UN envoy to Myanmar, Christine Bergener, said that there was shocking footage coming out of the country, and mass demonstrations and acts of civil disobedience have been taking place across Myanmar since the military seized control on the 1st of February. Protesters have been calling for the release of their leader Aung San Suu Kyi, who was overthrown and detained in the coup. Ghana and the UK have signed a new trade agreement worth £1.2 billion that will allow free access and tariff reductions for certain goods between the two countries. This means that Ghanaian products such as bananas, tinned tuna and cocoa will benefit hugely from tariff-free access to the UK. It will also support jobs in Ghana, paving the way for a further bout of economic growth. And Ghana's top imports from the UK include textiles, machinery, mechanical appliances, as well as chemical products. And now news of a trip you could go on that would blow your mind. It's probably a thought that has never crossed anyone's mind, going to the moon and back free of charge without paying a cent for it. But Japanese billionaire Yusaku Maezawa has invited 8 members of the public to join him for a trip around the moon on Elon Musk's SpaceX flight. And this trip is scheduled for 2023 and the mission will be known as Dear Moon. It will be the very first lunar journey by humans since 1972. And Maezawa, a fashion mogul and art director and collector, has said that he wishes to have folks with him from all kinds of backgrounds and he's prepared to pay for the entire journey. And he said that he had already bought all the seats on Musk's SpaceX flight, and he added it will be a private ride and applicants need to meet 2 criteria, namely they should advance whatever activity they are in to help other people and greater society in some way, and should be willing to support other crew members who share similar aspirations. In 2018, this man was named as the very first passenger due to be flown around the moon by SpaceX. Get entering. That's where we leave it for now. Here is Graham with a look at sports.
Well, continuing with the impossible now made possible, we continue to look at how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected schedules in sports. And the final leg of a revamped and shortened HSBC World Rugby 7 series will now be taking place in Cape Town this December. The South African leg of the series, excuse me, will return to Cape Town Stadium from the 10th to the 12th of December after a COVID-enforced absence, of course, last year. The 2021 World Series will include 5 women's and 4 men's rounds and is scheduled to kick off in Paris with back-to-back women's tournaments in May. Then it was a rather uneventful evening of football in the Premier Soccer League here at home as both fixtures ended in goalless draws. The match between Chippa United and Cape Town City FC ending 0-0 at the Sisa Dukashe Stadium. The Citizens remain in 7th place on the log as a result, while the Chili Boys now sitting in 12th. In the second fixture last night, Golden Arrows and Baraka FC also played out to a goalless draw in their PSL encounter at the Sugar Ray Xolo Stadium. Then staying with football, Manchester United registered their 3rd successive goalless draw in all competitions. That was after a 0-0 draw against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. So the Red Devils are now 14 points adrift of log leaders Manchester City. Now the results from last night: 3rd place Leicester City, they claimed a 1-1 draw against Burnley at Turf Moor. And then bottom of the table club Sheffield United, they survived for more than 30 minutes with 10 men on the field to record only their 4th Premier League win, in fact, beating Aston Villa 1-0. Then you can look forward to tonight in the Premier League, Fulham taking on Tottenham. I'm sure they'll look to capitalise on last night's results. That one's at 8 p.m. and then the big one, Liverpool playing host to old foes Chelsea, and that's the late game at 10:15 tonight. And that's where we leave our sport for this hour. Let's take another look at the weather.
Graham, we love to start the mornings off with a glimpse of how some of our viewers are experiencing their part of South Africa. Nick Lombard from Lourisfontein shared the stunning image showing off contrasting colors in the sky. You can expect a 29 degrees Celsius maximum with plenty of sunshine. Umlemo Gregos Valkomus from Mafikeng shared this cloudy morning, and this is with some sun trying to peek through. Mafikeng will be mostly sunny and pleasant, reaching a maximum of 30 degrees Celsius today. If you would like to see your photo featured during one of our segments, all you need to do is head over to the Expresso Facebook page and share your photo with us as well as location, and then you're on the segment. So while we love our local viewers, we also need to acknowledge some of our growing international audience tuned in via YouTube and the Africa channel. With your 7 a.m. update, we are sending a shout out to our viewers tuned in from Gaborone, the capital and largest city of Botswana. Gaborone has a semi-arid climate. Most of the year it is very sunny and summer is usually very hot and cool nights. Today's weather forecast is set to hit a high of 31 degrees Celsius with plenty of sunshine. Staying with some weather news, the International Energy Agency says global CO2 emissions have returned to pre-COVID-19 pandemic levels and are threatening to put the climate treaty targets for capping global warming out of reach. But, says the agency, as pressure builds to tackle the climate crisis, there are encouraging signs that major emitters are taking steps to decouple economic growth from planet-warming carbon emissions. China's surprise commitment to become carbon neutral by 2060, the Biden administration's ambitious climate agenda, along with the U.S. re-entry into the Paris Agreement, Agreement and the European Union's Green New Deal all point in the right direction. The agency commended India's stunning success with renewables and said it could transform the country's energy future. Earth's surface is already 1.1 degrees Celsius warmer on average, enough to increase the frequency and intensity of deadly heat waves, droughts and superstorms made more destructive by rising seas. Let's take a look at the temperatures across South Africa, and starting you off with Polokwane. 15% is your low to a high of 29. Bombela, 30 is your max. That is from a low of 17. Pretoria, good morning to you. 29 is your high today. That's from a low of 18. 17 the minimum in Johannesburg to a 28 degrees Celsius day. Mahikeng, 16 to 30 for you today. Klerksdorp, 31 is the high there from a low of 16 this morning. Kimberley, 18 to 33. Bloemfontein, your max is 30 from a minimum of 14 this morning. Richards Bay goes from 19 to 31. Then you got Pietermaritzburg, a 40% chance of thunder showers, 30 the max. That is from a low of 17. 22 to 29 in Durban. Mthatha, 17 to 30 with a 40% chance of thunder showers in that area too. Same applies for East London, 19 to 25 the temperatures there. Cradock, 14 to 34. Gqeberha, 18 to 24 today. George, 17 to 24 for you. The mother city, high of just 21 from a low of 17. Worcester, 14 to 29. 24 the max in Sutherland from a low of 9. And then Uppington, top of the temperatures as usual. 36 the high. That's from a low of 18. That's a wrap of your weather conditions across the country. Do remember to send me some of your sunrise photos. I'd love to add you to the weather right here on Expresso.
Thank you so much. It's looking like the weather's all over the show this
All over the show.
Yeah.
No matter what it's looking like, though, in your part of the country, man, come on. You know what we always say, make it a feel-good kind of day.
Of course, of course. And I think another thing that could attack and defend against this crazy weather is some tech, perhaps. And we were asking you this morning on our social media, what is the favorite piece of tech that you would take on a wildlife adventure, an excursion? Tubbs, would you take any tech? Because I got to ask you.
Why are you asking me questions?
I'd love to know what you
I
take
haven't
into
got
the wild.
the answers to. You know I don't do wildlife adventures. It's not my
But
brand.
remember our day one in the cave? You were Mr. Wildlife.
That was the only and last time. But I'm sure everybody else out there has had many things to list on their things. Let's take a look at some of those comments that have come through.
Yeah, Mzansi's been coming through, and the social media guys have been sifting through these comments. Our first one's from Shireen Abrams saying, good morning to the entire Expresso team. Happy Thursday, yay! And as a family, our cell phones to take with pics. Of course, we love to take pics when we go outdoors and keep it as memorable moments. Now, thank you for an awesome show every day, and the team loves this show. Have a super day as well.
Then we got one from Matan Jordan saying, good morning. I would bring my Samsung A21 to take good-looking pictures of me in the wild. Hashtag Tech Tuesday.
Yeah.
So you can never go wrong with a cell phone, right? That's like the stock
I think so,
standard.
and you can do so much with it. I mean, it's the best way to capture memories. So, Andre Patau says, good morning, team. I would say my phone. Again, a phone is such a popular one because of the camera to capture the best moments, but I would love to know how to do adventures for dummies on it. Maybe an idea there.
Yeah.
Like how to make a fire or how to build shelter. I would like to have a survival guide on my phone. Hashtag the Expresso Show.
Nice.
Some ideas there. Maybe we could come through with some tips later on, or maybe in another show.
Well, keep this guy around if you're looking for all those tips on how to survive the wildlife. But also, I think that there are so many other green gadgets that we could be looking at as far as wildlife adventures are concerned. So if you know any of those, please do share them with us. Our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3. And that hashtag, Expresso Show. See you for this.
Looking for fantastic health and weight loss benefits without a lifestyle change or being on a diet? Well, Shapeline 50 Billion from Proven Probiotics is the first ever probiotic to offer scientifically proven weight loss, while at the same time boosting immune and digestive health. That's why we think Shapeline 50 Billion may well be the world's most effective probiotic. Available at Dis-Chem and Clicks.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso and Nani this Thursday morning. But now it's time to head over to our homeware editor, Danielle Weekly, who has decided to give her bathroom a Woolworths makeover using fluffy towels, scented candles, and a few luxurious and sustainable touches to make all the difference.
Right, now that I've taken everything out of this bathroom, I want to chat to you about exactly what we're going to be doing in changing it up for the season. It used to be black, white with a hit of coral, but we're going to be using sustainable items, new colors, a little bit of lighting to really make something completely transformational. Tip 1, storage. There is nothing worse than a small bathroom space that's completely cluttered with exploding body items, towels, toilet paper. Baskets are a really simple way to do this. I love these guys. You can see by my collection, I'm a huge fan. Mo's Crib is a locally produced home decor company. They're sustainable, they're amazingly beautiful. They're available at Woolies. They come in lots of different sizes. You can stash your toilet paper in them. I love these, and I particularly love the ginormous laundry basket. Tip 2, towels. It is the fastest, simplest way to change up a color palette. I am completely obsessed with sage green as a color palette for winter and the time ahead. They are zero twist. The cotton has been ever so slightly twisted, so they're much faster to dry and much softer to touch. I am a sucker for a bath sheet, so make them big, and if you feel like you don't have enough space in your bathroom, you can always use the baskets to stash your towels in. So I like to roll them up and pop them in. Tip number 3, decor accessories. I am completely mad about plants in bathrooms, but I'm not that hot about keeping them alive. So I love a faux plant, and I'm gonna grab a few right now and pop up onto this shelf. I also love a bit of metallics for this bathroom. I think that it adds a little something that plays off the mirrors and the greenery. I absolutely love that you can use things that are both practical and beautiful. So something like a hand soap dispenser, a little toothpaste mug, even the toilet brush holders can be a set that works together for the decor, not just for something that's practical. Tip number 4 is soft lighting. A bathroom is a space of sanctuary and relaxation, and as far as I'm concerned, you cannot do that in hard lighting. The quickest and most affordable way to do it? Candles. In a bathroom, a candle that comes in a container is fabulous because you don't have to worry about it too much. I love these little stone lotuses. I think they're super cute, and I really, really love a short pillar candle. And they add to the spa feel, which I really love. And I've got a couple of ceramic vibes that are going on here that I'm going to add to the stone countertop because it matches with what I've got going on. And then I've got a Buddha, and we're going to add that last of all. And this is a candle holder, despite appearances. Success, bathroom goals achieved. We took a simple black and white color scheme and we turned it into a sanctuary. Sustainable basketry, faux plants, a little bit of stoneware and metallics, my Buddha, and so many candles. I love it. Everything is available at Woolies. You can shop in-store, online, and on the app.
I just absolutely love Danielle Weekly's bathroom. The lighting just bounces off so beautifully against the white walls, and also the accessories that she's added do add a bit of character when it comes to the bathroom decor. So thank you so much. I've taken down some notes, but a personal one from me, especially in a small bathroom, do invest in those baskets to kind of put in your towels, and your other accessories. But right now though, from the bathroom, siyazivasa izandla, we sanitize, and we're going straight to the kitchen.
We're back in the kitchen. Admittedly, I've been stuffing my face with masala French toast the whole morning, so I'm quite full, but I have a feeling this one might entice me from spicing up our bathrooms to spicing up our lives.
I didn't know where you were going to go with that.
Spice up the lives.
Chef Clem, just before we went live, you were like, have you heard my life story?
So actually,
I'm here for that.
The chef that made that amazing masala French toast was actually one of my lecturing chefs when I was a student.
Get out.
Yes.
Get out of here.
How cool is that? What is
hey, we're having a full circle moment right now.
We are.
This is awesome. A chicken dinner is a winner.
Yes.
In one pot, even better, my friend. And this is, as I understand it, a one-pot wonder. Mm-hmm. And it's got a lot of flavor, dude. I'm looking at the spices. I'm even looking at the coriander. I'm thinking maybe today's the day I turn the corner. Maybe you can win me over.
Wow.
Maybe.
Wow. Okay, so the reason you're not seeing the final dish is because I'm going to bring it out the oven in a second.
Let's in a very dramatic crescendo to the segment.
It's going to be fireworks. It's so good. So, chicken.
Did it come to you in a dream?
This one actually came to me out of necessity. Because I was craving paella, like you got to stand there and work it, and then
it's like a 9-hour thing, yeah.
It's actually not, but I wasn't in the mood for all of that. So I was like, you know what? Let's try baking it, and let's see what happens. And it actually worked, and it's so easy. First thing is, I'm using chicken breast, not chicken leg or thigh today.
Okay.
Because there's so much moisture, and it keeps the chicken super moist.
Okay.
Also, chicken breast cooks in like a quarter of the time.
That's very quick.
And these little tiny little fillets, even quicker.
And it's a great protein. It's a good, clean protein.
It is.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's no reason not to get chicken anywhere else from Woolworths. I mean, they've dropped the price across their whole entire fresh chicken range.
All the fresh chicken, yeah.
All of it. So it's so, like, literally now's the time to start practicing your winter dishes now. So, like, you build that arsenal so when winter comes.
You're ready.
You are so ready. Okay, hot pan, because I want to get some nice little color on the chicken. And I'm going to add it all to this oil. Let it do its thing.
This does feel hearty. Hey, this kind of feels like something that's real soul food.
I kind of feel like this is a dish that's going to please everyone.
Most notably, I noticed you didn't rinse the chicken beforehand.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, chicken in. We're going to season it now. You can be a little generous with the seasoning. Rice likes seasoning.
Seasoning, okay.
Because under-seasoned rice is quite sad. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's
Pepper
what it
going in. That's going to start browning. I'm not going to mix with it now. I'm going to turn that heat up and let's just do its thing. Let's talk about the spices we're using.
Okay.
It's kind of like the Mexican vibes because we're using the chipotle. This product, actual reason we're doing this recipe today is because I got so many DMs from people saying they've never seen the spicy
chipotle.
The tomato soup. It's a tomato soup. Please hold it. Hold it. Show the nation.
Smoky chipotle and tomato soup. Dun dun dun.
Okay. So I got a lot of DMs from people saying this is amazing. This is great. Besides soup, love that idea. Can they use it to replace tin tomatoes? And I was like, I'm going to show you how to use it to replace tin tomatoes. It's going to be the base, the stock of our delicious one-pan rice bake. Okay, chicken's doing its thing. I'm going in with some ground coriander.
Okay. And lots, you really are loading this with flavor, hey?
Again, it's because we've got rice going in there. Rice it's a blank canvas for flavors. Ground cumin. So it's Mexican vibes with the chipotle, cumin, the coriander.
Cool, I'm
You're
digging
going to make it spicy in a couple ways.
Yeah.
Some chili flakes. And then green chili. You get different flavor profiles from the different chilies that you use.
Sure.
I want the flavor out of them, so what I'm going to do is I could add them whole, or as someone's done already, they've split it for me.
Don't
break it off.
I know we're not supposed to touch our face in the corona time, but just don't touch your face now.
Don't touch your face, don't touch anything when you've done the chilies.
Yeah.
Go wash your hands. Been there, done that. Just trust me. Okay, chili's going in. And that's going to start. Can you smell it already?
I'm trying.
I just throw things around the kitchen nowadays.
Man, you've just gone crazy with this one.
So can you smell it? It's delicious. So, right,
Waft it across.
like this, if you wanted to just create like a quick little chicken, like the masala vibes, what you can do is just let this cook and then add a little bit of water to it.
And I like to think that you're cooking the spices, you're activating those spices before it goes in for the bake.
Yeah.
Eh?
Raul taught me this. He said that if you're going to start eating healthy, the first thing people, they start feeling like they're not getting flavor anymore. Spices. No calories in spices, but there's some benefits to it. Like turmeric, we know, is such a, it's a superfood. So use spices. Get familiar
yeah,
with
for sure,
getting them in the
man.
pan.
But a chili helps you actually burn calories, believe it or not.
Love it. It's true. It's so true. So onions going in. You can brown your onions off separately if you want to get more color on them. This is going to bake all together, so I'm kind of...
They're going to cook through regardless,
and I'm trying to make this like a 30-minute meal.
For sure.
Red pepper is going in. I've just like sliced them through. And now...
And then there's your amazing filling, hey? Beautiful. The smoky chipotle.
This is going to go in.
Tomato soup.
This has got so much flavor already. So, okay.
Hey, man, you had me at chipotle, bro.
We don't waste, right? There's still a bit in there. Mom's trick.
Yeah.
A little bit of water.
100%.
Because I actually need water, so I'm going to just rinse out the can.
You've got to do this anyway before you recycle the can. You want to kind of rinse it out so that it's clean.
Right.
There we go.
That goes in. That's going to come to temperature.
Okay, so you want a fair bit of moisture in the dish, eh?
You do. Here's the thing. Now we're going to hit it with the rice. You can use... So parboiled rice doesn't mean you actually cook your rice first. Parboiled rice is that shorter grain rice.
Okay.
Not short like sushi, but it's the regular rice we all grew up with.
Okay.
You can... The most important thing is put it in a bowl, a little bit of water, just wash it a bit, get all that excess starch off. I'm not going to say that word because then we're going to start...
Say it.
Rinse your rice. Okay? Get your rice in a bowl, cold water.
Bathe your rice.
Bathe, massage, actually do massage it gently. Get all that excess starchy water off. Rinse it off, and then you can use it from that sense, okay?
Okay.
Or you can take it after you've rinsed it, a little bit of water, a little cling wrap over your bowl, microwave, 10 minutes, and you get this. So you can either do it from dry or from this pot, okay?
Because it is still going to cook.
It's going to cook further.
In the dish, yeah.
What you want is going to absorb all that moisture that's in the pan.
So that's kind of your paella vibes there.
Yeah.
Starting to echo through, yeah.
Like I said, it's quicker, it's easier. Now, Graham, will you grab that one? I've got a little lappy for you.
Yes.
You grab the one that is out, it's in the oven.
This is really thin, eh? Is this going to work?
Let me know if you're struggling, I'll get it for you.
Wow, look at this, guy. Look at this. Can you
Yeah, that is amazing. Okay, I'm going to go light on the coriander, but at home...
Look how beautiful that looks.
What do you think? How does it look?
It's not going to...
Not that hot.
Oh, that looks wonderful,
I actually
man.
let it rest in the oven for a little bit, to switch the oven off, and that just allows the rice to absorb even more liquids. You're looking very chefy. You're looking very chefy. Okay, so...
And it looks like a paella.
Yeah,
eh?
it does. It does. We've got Mexican vibes going on here, so I'm going to finish it like we finish tacos. Okay? How about that? So, a little bit of sour cream.
Yeah, love
Again, this is going to cut through all the flavor that we've got there.
Oh, and I love that chili, hey? That's come out beautifully and kind of
just so people know what's inside there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Little dollops of sour cream.
And it does look proper Mexican, eh?
Thank you. Some spring onions.
Nice, and again, the textures, and that's
it's
wonderful,
so amazing. Man. And then a little bit of
just a rough. You're going to add those red, sweeter chilies in there as well. And
colors of the Mexican flag, the red, the white.
Beautiful.
Here comes.
And then you're going to ruin it with
extra
some coriander. Green. Beautiful, man.
What do you think? One pan, one man, with a plan.
One man, one pan. Dinner is over. That looks amazing, man.
Like it? You like it?
Oh,
I'm even going to stand it up a little bit.
Congratulations. That looks absolutely
there we go.
scrumptious.
No,
you can find this ingenious recipe on expressoshow.com. You'll get a full ingredients list, a little blow-by-blow of how you can create this one pot one day. Is it a paella? No, it's not. Does it take hours to make? No, it doesn't.
Is it going to be good?
Yes, it will. Absolutely beautiful. Chef Clem, you're a genius, man.
Thank you, man.
No, you really are. You.
You can get Woolies exceptional quality at low prices every day.
Making it to 2021 is a triumph. So celebrate with Immuenza and stand a chance to win 5,000 Rand weekly for 5 weeks. Now keep boosting your immune system with Immuenza and tell us your survival story and what protected you from, say, a lion attack to a parachute fail. We want to hear your amazing stories. Reply to Immuenza's competition post on Afternoon Express's Facebook or Twitter pages. And note that this competition runs until midnight, the 17th of March 2021. T's and C's can be found on afternoonexpress.co.za.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It's Tech Thursday, and it's your Feel Good Breakfast Show live on SABC3. And we got the man over here, Grant Hines, who is going to give us a little update on something new, something fresh. Now, imagine the classic theme park game of bumper cars. We all love that. But now it's a video game, and that game featured characters and cars and special abilities. I mean, that would be the best theme park ever, but now you can get it on your console, and that's the reality with the all-new PlayStation exclusive Destruction All-Stars. In fact, hold on, Destruction All-Stars. You have to say it properly. Grant Hines joins us to see what the fuss is about. My brother, I've been watching you play this game, and I'm excited about it.
Look how cool it looks, right? Look how cool this is.
So clear.
There are problems with it, and there's some cool things with it. One of the cool things with it is the character selection.
Yeah.
This is Harmony. I'm going to pick Harmony because I think she looks really cool. And basically, like you described, it is a bumper cars extreme in the ilk of back in the day. A lot of people played Burnout Paradise.
Yes.
Or Burnout Mayhem. Did you play PlayStation 2, Burnout?
You know what? I was actually more of a Carmageddon guy. That's
Carmageddon.
Yeah,
hey, yes, yeah. So it was that kind of game. This is in that spirit. Now imagine that and Fortnite came together into a game, and that's what you get when you get Destruction All-Stars. It's free on PlayStation Plus.
Nice.
So if you've got a PlayStation 5 or and you have PlayStation Plus, you get it. But you can see now we're just jumping into a car. There's a little bit of legwork that you have to do.
I like that, actually. I like that it's not only a vehicle. You start in the vehicle. You also have to do some legwork.
I think that's a bad thing.
I'm
glad you think that's cool.
Okay, cool. Tell me why you think it's a bad one.
I think that it would be much better. The fun is always in the car. So now, when you are on foot, you feel like you kind of are missing out. But at the same time, you want to be able to see, you want to be able to see the characters that you've designed, or like they've designed, which are really cool.
Ooh.
No, so now I'm out of the car, so I've been hit out of the car. So now I've got to make my way to a platform to find another car, or I have to take another car from somebody else. I'm going to quickly...
I see, so there are some power-ups and things you can do on foot during the game.
Yes, so that's the big one. So let me take this car. Get into this car. Now it is mine, and I've got the ability. I'm going to be able to get the ability to... Wow! Somebody came out of nowhere to catch me out. I'm going to be able to get the ability. Now, it's called like your ultimate, and then I'm nearly there. I just need to knock out. This game mode that we're playing right now is called Mayhem. Now I've got my ultimate ability. Let's use it.
Okay, cool.
So...
And I'm seeing that these car games that have a bit more purpose to it, like we've seen all the way. Like I know Rocket League is very popular.
Yes,
and it has a similar type of.
I'm impressed with you to know Rocket League.
Dude, when you're with Grant Hines, a brother must do research. It's important.
I've been knocked out my car again. Okay, so I've got to quickly now. I can jump into somebody else's car if they are. Oh, there we go. And I have to do like a few prompts to get into the car. I'm nearly there, and I've got it. And I'm going to take the car away from this person. To take over.
Is it just like a car skirmish? Are there story modes? What are the modes like in the game?
So there are no modes. It's kind of bare bones. So like, as far as a review goes, I think it's nice that it's free, that it's if you've got PlayStation Network, PlayStation Plus, which is cool, but I would like there to be a lot more. I think Rocket League, for instance, is a more fully fledged out game, something that you might want to be playing a little bit longer. But this is really nice when you've got like friends coming around, you know?
And let's just say, obviously online you can join.
Yes, you can play. Cool. You can play against a bunch of people online. And I just really wish they had also taken these traversing things a little bit more. There are 4 game modes. So Mayhem, Tornado. There's something similar to this where there's a little tornado in the middle of the screen. There's chaos right now. There, I'm back in the car.
This is me. Whenever something happens and you're trying to have a conversation with somebody playing FIFA, it's amazing how your voice goes up a couple of notches when you play. You're like, I'll be right there. That's fine.
Oh, this car,
that looks like a cool car.
I cannot take it.
And if you look at the gameplay, I mean, can you obviously move toward different levels, power-ups, different add-ons to your vehicles, etc., etc.?
Each person has got what I would call an ultimate ability in a video game. So you can do things like have fire behind your car, but you've got to charge it. Oh, I missed that one. I'm going to be shaken off. So you get a whole bunch of those things, but it's not like what you would traditionally have. Like I really wish there was more variety in this game than there currently is. But it's fun. Look at this. It's like a very high frame rate, cool characters, being able to like have your friends around and just smash people online, and just it's a little bit more mindless than most games.
I got you.
But if I bought this, if I'd actually paid money for it, I think I'd be upset. But fortunately, if you have PlayStation Plus, it is free and it's available right now. So you can still give it a go and then uninstall it if you don't like it, or just have some friends around to see how cool the action is.
I mean, this is a cool game. I mean, as Ron said, a bit of the legwork is something that's not really a plus for him. However, if you look at the game, the frame rate, how smooth it is, how action-packed it is, it's going to be fun for every single person that grabs a controller in your house and actually gets onto this on PlayStation. So that is Destruction All-Stars. Go check it out. It is one of those games that you just have to play. It just looks so much fun. If you want some more tech news, don't worry about it. We got you sorted out right here on Expresso.
4, 3,
2, 1.
Okay, so from all of that gaming action back to the music stage, because we're here with the band Perfect Fifth _SA. They're about to blow us away with a performance of their song, which is on their album coming out on Saturday. It's called On My Mind, sure to give you a bit of a warm something. Take it away.
Dream some time ago. I never thought that it would become a reality. Please take me where I need to go, away from the flaws of humanity. There's one thing I just had to know. It would be the light to find my way in the darkest days. And no, not everybody understands, so I'll explain it another way. It takes up all my time, something I can't describe, and it's a whole new side that brought me back to life, and it will never die, because it takes up all my time, something I can't describe, and it's a whole new side that brought me back to life, and it will never die, because it's always on my mind, always on my mind, always on my mind. It's always on my mind, always on my mind, always on my mind. Call it what you want to. You might think that it's all in my head, but it's a reason for my happiness. So I'll be living my life instead. It takes up all my time, something I can't describe, and it's a whole new side that brought me back to life, and it will never die, because it takes up all my time, something I can't describe, and it's a whole new side that brought me back to life, and it will never die, because it's always on my mind, always on my mind, always on my mind. Come on. It's always on my mind, always on my mind, always on my mind. It's always on my mind, always on my mind, always on my mind. One more time. It's always on my mind, always on my mind, always on my mind.
Perfect Fifth on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Now, this is the very best of homegrown talent. Let us know what you thought of that performance on Expresso Morning Show, SABC3, with the hashtag Expresso Show. Album drops on Saturday, and you want to make sure that you are able to say you heard it here first.
Oh, you can make my day.
Welcome back as we continue to celebrate the darker and lighter side of wildlife. And the Comedy Wildlife Photography Awards were established by a gentleman by the name of Paul Hicks on the slopes of Mount Meru in northern Tanzania. And the concept first came to life while working in East Africa as a wildlife photographer. Well, 2 decades of capturing incredible images of animals and birds, Paul realized that issues of wildlife conservation and sustainability are now gaining momentum globally. Thankfully, yet the messages and the images tend to be negative. Looking back at his photos over the years, he stumbled upon a few that made him laugh. Thus, the Comedy Wildlife Photography Awards were birthed. And today we are going to be connecting with one of his incredible fellow photographers, Tom Salam. A very good morning, Tom. How are you?
Yo, Tom, can you hear us? Are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you perfectly.
Ah, there we go. We got you. We got you loud and clear, Tom.
Sorry.
A very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We are celebrating wildlife today, and what better way to do it than through the funny side of what you, I would imagine, do every day. But this idea is phenomenal because it really does drive the idea of conservation and sustainability in a very different way. How did the awards first come about?
It's a good question, and we are asked this question very often. Probably at the very heart of it, as photographers, it's very hard to win competitions. So we decided maybe we should set up our own competition so we could win that one. Turns out you can't win your own competition. But the serious side was that, you know, we're both living in Tanzania at the time, and Paul still lives in Tanzania, and and his idea was to essentially try and change the direction of the conversation, which is normally a fairly hard-hitting, negative story that doesn't always grab people. It can, in fact, it can make people feel guilty or want to turn the TV off or look away from the sort of more sobering images. And so very quickly, we, you know, in talking and seeing people's responses, we saw that there was a lot of engagement in the humor side of things, and you have to be careful. You have to manage that people don't just drift away and just think it's a funny thing. But we just thought we need to get traction with the press, with photographers, and then with the larger public about the conservation message, and to get people to engage with it in a positive way, rather than thinking, oh gosh, I feel guilty, I don't want to see this. This is not really what I want to look at. And it's worked. You know, to date, we're 6 years in, and it's like a major news story when the pictures come out. So it's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta say,
hence we're talking about it now on national
literally,
TV. Yeah.
And I gotta say, the pictures are absolutely fascinating. A very different scene and scenario to what you'd expect when it comes to wildlife. But I mean, look, the competitions you're going for, I believe, 4 years in total already. But I mean, for all these years that it's been going through and what's to come, what would your hope be in terms of the desired outcome and expectation of this entire initiative over the next few years?
Well, I think now that we've, you know, the first few years was to kind of get ourselves established and get people to know who we are, and that's worked. And the next step is really to see genuinely being able to raise, you know, funds that we can then direct towards correct and good use. So, for example, this year we're supporting an orangutan conservation plan in Borneo, and that's the Ganang Palang Orangutan Foundation, and the funds that we raise through the competition can then be directed to them, and we can see that actual money make a difference on what's happening on a particular project. So it's not just to get people smiling; it is then to get people to take some action. I mean, fundamentally, we're all here on this planet, and it's our responsibility all round. But that's not always obvious, and often we think other people are doing that side of the job. But if we can just raise people's awareness just that little bit, I think that's that one step that everyone's got to take, and we're doing it in a way that's more positive probably than different ways of raising awareness.
Than guilting people into taking action. I love the fact that this is playing out in 2 levels, that there is an awareness element, but it's also outcomes based. And I'm sorry, we weren't snickering at you or your remarks. We've just been looking through some of the photos, and they are hilarious. I think what strikes me is there's the personification. We can see such human reactions.
That bird was like, talk to the hand.
Talk to the hand, baby. Talk to the hand.
So cool.
Maybe this is an impossible question, but what has been your favorite photo so far out of the amazing contributions?
It is an impossible question, but you know, you swap and change. And yesterday, when I was asked that question, I decided to pick the one that probably deep down reminds me of my friendships and younger life, which was a series of penguins drifting along the beach. And at the back, there's one that's not feeling quite as well as all the others. And it's you know, these pictures they're very personal because you smile at slightly different things. You think everyone's laughing at the same thing, but you know that to me that's life with my friends. I don't want.
I absolutely love it. Listen, we've all had a night like that, man. I think we've all had a night like that. Absolutely brilliant, man. I think you deserve massive kudos for putting wildlife on the center stage in this way. It really is such a cool way to look at our world and appreciate, I think, an area, as you say, that often has a very negative connotation. So we're going to ask you to stick around. We're going to continue this discussion and focusing on some of these amazing photos taken by truly phenomenal photographers. So thanks so much for that. And we're going to put it out to you guys. If you have an interest in wildlife or photography, then enter those hilarious wildlife photos of yours and stand the chance to win a one-week safari in Kenya for two. And we're going to ask Tom to join us a little bit later and maybe another previous winner to take a look at some of those unbelievable contributions.
Remember Winston? He landed the job of his dreams.
Smooth. Late for his second day, he parked in the boss's spot. Not smooth. Luckily, the boss liked his style so much, he's up for promotion. Nothing smoother.
Made with love by Clover.
Gentlemen, skhathi sokuhleka manje. There's absolutely no doubt that things can be smooth or get a little not so smooth on the wild side of life. And in light of World Wildlife Day, we commemorate those smooth and not smooth things in our 5-second game to add some laughter and smooth vibes to your Thursday morning. I love you guys so.
I don't know how both Carl and I agreed to this.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Stunning, I love it. So the games are really simple. This is an old school game here on the show.
Yeah.
I am going to ask you guys a series of questions each, and you only have 5 seconds to answer, okay?
Lovely.
Yes, ma'am.
And the winner will walk away
with
the something that I'll announce at the end of the show.
Okay.
We're going to start off
ready.
with Carl Wasty. You are guest number 1. Name 3 smooth animal sightings on an animal safari.
Oh, leopard, lion, antelope.
I love that.
Thank you.
Nice.
Starting off very strong there, Carl Wasty, Uncle Tabsy.
The
Name
pressure.
3 not smooth wildlife animal encounters you've had.
When the elephant was charging at the thing, okay?
Can we fleck again?
My favorite thing is when the animal was charging at the thing.
I've only been on safari once.
Okay.
This was now in December.
Yes,
Sun City, and the only one thing I saw literally was the elephant trying to come for us.
Oh, shame.
And that was not smooth, obviously.
Absolutely not smooth. Almost, though. Uncle Tabsy, back to you, Carl Wasty.
Okay, I'm ready.
Name 3 not smooth things to do if a lion runs towards you.
Run toward the lion.
Okay.
Sleka to the lion and hit the lion.
Well, those are 3 things.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very much impossible to uibeta a lion.
Well, I do think a lion might appreciate a bit of fleckering.
Yeah, imagine it actually pauses and also Shlekas with you like,
I got you.
Uncle Tabsy, we're back to you. Name 3 smooth facts you know about penguins.
They love the water, they love the sun, they love to clicker.
Yes, they do.
They do.
They do.
You
they
see
do.
them go.
That's actually very true.
Yeah.
And they are very happy animals. Carl Wasty,
Yeah.
name 3 not smooth ways we've negatively impacted our wildlife.
Using plastic.
Yes.
Littering on beaches with things other than plastic and bad tie animals.
100%.
You can't
Wait,
hit
was
them.
that a buzzer?
I don't know why this
before he
yes,
gave
that's
the
it. I
answer.
said beta and the buzzer went, so they got confused.
Oh, because of the time. So
Yeah, yeah.
shame you didn't
Did I
manage
not
to
make
get that one. Nope.
I said bet. Okay, that's fine.
You didn't.
Yeah.
Sorry,
All right.
Carl Wasty.
Sorry.
Uncle Tabsy, this is your moment to kind of redeem yourself, okay?
Well, I've
Name
just done
three-
well. What do you mean redeem myself?
You did. You did fantastic. You know.
Okay, let's hear it.
Name 3 smooth ways we can positively impact wildlife.
Recycle. Care for the animals.
Yes.
Love the animals.
Oh,
yes.
Hug the animals. Be
Touch
one
the
with the
animals.
animals. No, you got that one. So now we're head to head.
Okay, cool. You
Okay,
ready?
2 points each. This is the final question. Name 3 smooth collective names for different groups of animals.
Okay. Dazzle of zebra, a pride of lions, and a herd of antelope.
Wow.
Uncle
Yes,
Tabsy.
you're really smart, Carl.
No, but I thought
Like
I'd learned
so
from you.
smart. Like I actually don't even know.
Why are you taken aback by that? Why are you shocked by
I
that
don't
fact?
understand. Maybe it's the dazzle of zebra. I
It
think that's
is.
the thing, yeah.
That also kind of took me off a little bit. I was like, what? Bedazzling what? Uncle Tabsy, the final question goes out to you. Give us 3 smooth impressions of sounds heard in the wild.
Let's do it.
Let's go. I need you to please name them for me.
No need for the names, eh? You must figure out if you know your animals.
No, I've heard 4 distinct sounds.
I heard
actually, from
5.
that.
I don't know. I heard 5 of them.
There was one that was just like,
Because
Yes.
you didn't say match it to an animal. You said distinct sounds that you will hear in the wild.
So-
you will hear them,
Okay.
but you won't know all the time what
Yes.
animal made the sound.
So it's a tie. Okay. It's a tie, and I have to think of one question.
Okay.
I'm gonna need you guys to please give me an animal sound, animal buzzer. Carl, quickly.
Yeah. Oh, animal buzzer. I'm gonna go.
Tabsy.
Ooh.
What was? Okay.
It's like a baboon.
A baboon. Okay, cool. Gotcha.
This is just one question to the both of you. Name the fastest animal in the planet. Uncle Tabsy.
A cheetah.
Woo! Uncle Tabsy gets that one right.
It's like when I'm cheating. I mean, not cheating.
When you're cheating on who?
You're a cheetah
Okay.
as well.
When I'm chasing Carl around the studio like a cheetah,
It's okay.
and he's like an antelope.
Thank you.
Okay, Uncle
A
Tabsy,
gazelle.
we get
A
it.
gazelle.
But the winner this morning is Uncle Tabsy, and he walks away with the golden horn.
Yes.
But as a compensation prize, you may have yourself a
Thank you.
Tropica, okay?
Oh, my word.
Thank you so much for being a great sport.
When I look at this, you know what I think about?
Listen, may your next wildlife experiences be as smooth as the winner of this round of the 5.
Remember Winston? He landed the job of his dreams.
Smooth. Late for his second day, he parked in the boss's spot. Not smooth. Luckily, the boss liked his style so much, he's up for promotion. Nothing smoother.
Made with love by Clover. Oh, you can make my day.
Oh, we've been in a lot of laughter in the studio today, and we absolutely love that. We are taking a look at the lighter side of wildlife, courtesy of the Comedy Wildlife Photography Awards, which are amazing. We've learned that they kind of hit on two levels. One, about creating awareness in a very positive way, where often wildlife photography, in a conservation sense, focuses on the negative. This certainly is anything but that. And they also then use the funds to plug back into conservation efforts. And we've got Tom Sullen, all the way from the UK, joining us, and Mark Fitz, who is a winner in, I think most recently from last year, one of the incredible photographers involved. Gentlemen, welcome back to you, Tom and Mark. Thanks so much for joining us all the way in Oz.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks so much for having me, guys.
How's it going out in Oz? How's the weather like? How's the wildlife over there? I know it can be a bit crazy.
Yeah, well, we've got 50-kilometre-hour winds and it's pouring rain here today, so it's a little bit wild. But
just another day in Oz.
I was going to say, perfect day to get outside, get your togs on, get out there and get a photo for us. So, gents, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to take an opportunity to revel in these amazing photos that have surfaced through your incredible competition. So we're going to bring up some of the photos, and maybe you guys can give us a bit of context. And we've got a pic.
This is a big one, G. This is, I believe, this is actually the winning picture of 2020.
So, Mark, you better give us some context here. What did you do to upset this turtle so much?
Well, I'd been swimming with him for about 20 minutes. I'd been in the lagoon at Lady Elliot, swimming around with a whole lot of turtles, and came across this guy. And, yeah, I was swimming away with him, and apparently he cracked it and flipped the bird at me.
So, brother, I've got to ask you, what was the reason for actually choosing to submit? I mean, of course, I'm sure you had so many options, but why decide to submit this picture?
Well, this one seemed to do really well on social media for me. It's been my most popular photo by miles. So, and the Comedy Wildlife Photography Comp is like my favourite photography competition. It's always a highlight each year seeing it. So I thought, well, this is the perfect opportunity to enter Terry the turtle and see how he goes.
Terry looks so upset, man. But of course, it does raise a very interesting question around the Great Barrier Reef and the area, and it just draws attention to the conservation efforts there. Tom, while we bring up more of these photos, and you guys will probably hopefully see them on your screen as well, what advice do you have for new photographers wanting to enter this competition?
The number one bit of advice is get out there and take pictures, because so many photographers ask me, you know, what can I do to get better? And so many of them don't take enough pictures. But if you get out there and take the pictures, you are already one step ahead of the rest of the crowd. Secondly, to make the picture funny, you're going to have to persevere just that little bit, because these are very unplanned. You know, that lion grabbing it's unplanned. That was not predicted.
You can't ask for a take two of that.
Exactly, you can't. Well, there'd have been an after shot. We've never seen the shot after that one.
I was going to say, did that cub survive the rest of that day? I'm going to put that to you, Mark, because I would imagine just the life of a wildlife photographer can be quite grueling. You've got to spend a lot of time out there. You don't always get a gem like the gem we are seeing on screen now. What advice do you have for budding photographers looking to make their mark in the wildlife space, not just to find that funny photo, but to make their mark as a good wildlife photographer?
I think the most important thing is to have a lot of patience and to really understand the animal that you're trying to photograph, because we've got no control over the animals. They're wild, they do what they want, so it's about us understanding them, seeing what their behaviours are, and then working in with that to see how we can try and create a really nice photo.
Tom, what an opportunity, what a life you must lead, being able to be this close to nature. I'm sitting next to Nature Boy here, as he is known, who spends a huge amount of his time outdoors. But I think maybe there has been, it seems like through this period of lockdown, people have reconnected with nature in a completely different way. Climate change and our perseverance of the nature has really taken on a different meaning now. What is the message with the time that you've been able to spend in this space that you'd like to send out to the world? What do we need to know about this beautiful planet that we are so blessed to live in?
I think, you know, we've had this time to spend with our families and be locked down a little bit, depending on what country you're in, and just to slow the pace down a little bit. And I think for a lot of people, that slowed pace has been the huge benefit of the downsides of lockdown. That's been one of the great things. And so I think it's just allowed all of us to refocus a little bit and just enjoy what's around us, what's in our immediate vicinity, and therefore at the same time realize what it is that's being affected by human behavior. And, you know, it's got to be a united front that doesn't have to make huge leaps every day. It's about a positive way of thinking every day, doing a little bit, and it can be as small as there's so many little things you can do, and on our website we've listed sort of quick wins, but you can have little flower boxes on your windowsills and already you're increasing chances of bees to survive. So there's so many small steps, and I think having been in lockdown, everyone is sort of aware of the tiny things they can do, and there's so many tips, and we put them all on our website to know what you can do positively.
Maybe just changing that mindset, one photo at a time, is what it's all about. Thank you. You've put a massive smile on both of our faces this morning. Thank you so much for the work that you are doing on a global scale. Now, look forward to connecting with you again and hopefully going through many more of these brilliant offerings. But to both of you, keep doing the good work that you're doing on the ground. And thank you so much for sharing this love of wildlife with us this morning. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Oh, of course, guys, don't forget
Terry.
as well, guys, into the competition too. And you could win yourself a competition for two of you, actually, to win a trip to Kenya for a week, which is just an absolutely perfect chance to get some more of those pictures coming through. So enter that comp and you might stand a chance to be seeing you right here live on this show too. Have a beautiful one.
Thank you very much, team. Time for us to take a final look at those news headlines. The 5 largest teachers' unions in the country have briefed Parliament's Committee on Basic Education on a number of issues, including the challenges posed by the COVID-19 outbreak. The unions expressed concern about the lack of infrastructure, the welfare of teachers, as well as inequalities between schools exposed by the pandemic. They say schools in rural areas and townships have the short end of the stick in terms of technology aids. And they say it is also difficult for them to maintain social distancing due to too few classrooms. Staying in South Africa, Cape Nature has set a number of traps in the Breda River after an unknown number of Nile crocodiles escaped from a commercial breeding farm in Bonnevale in the Cape Winelands. Western Cape local government spokesperson James Brent Steyn said yesterday that Cape Nature, the police and landowners in the area would also patrol the river at night. The crocodiles are about 1.2 to 1.5 meters long, and they present medium danger to people because they are farmed animals used to regular feeding and do not hunt for food. In international news, Egypt and Sudan have pledged support to the Democratic Republic of Congo, the DRC, to lead negotiations on the dispute with Ethiopia over the giant Grand Renaissance Dam being built in the Nile River. Senior government officials from the two countries said they support intensified negotiations involving the African Union, the United States, the European Union, as well as the United Nations. Ethiopia considers the Grand Renaissance Dam crucial for generating electricity for economic growth, but there are concerns in Egypt and Sudan that the dam will restrict their access to water. At least 38 people were killed in Myanmar yesterday in what the UN described as the bloodiest day since the coup took place a month ago. The UN envoy to Myanmar, Christine Bergener, said that there was shocking footage coming through and coming out of the country. Mass demonstrations and acts of civil disobedience have been taking place across Myanmar since the military seized control on the 1st of February. Protesters have been calling for the release of their leader Aung San Suu Kyi, who was overthrown and detained in the coup. And now news concerning a small, shy and mostly nocturnal mammal. Yesterday was World Wildlife Day, and worldwide, much focus fell on a small, shuffling, solitary, shy and mostly nocturnal mammal, the pangolin, that has landed on the world stage because of the erroneous belief that in some quarters of the world that it has healing properties. The pangolin has few natural enemies, but researchers say that it presently holds the title for the most trafficked mammal in the world because the tough scales covering its small body are sought after for use in Eastern medicine. Asian pangolins presently face extinction, and subsequently African pangolins are being targeted. And the pangolin eats ants and termites and endears itself deeply to those who do not hunt or eat it. partly because of its gleaming blueberry eyes, but partly also because it is so gentle. And one can only fervently hope that the increasing prompts from various quarters of civil society engagement in conserving the pangolin will lead to effective action, because protecting our wildlife means protecting our own lives and livelihoods. And that's a final look at the news. Here's a final look at what's happening in sports with G-Man.
Thanks so much, Tabiso. Well, perhaps some light at the end of the tunnel. The final leg of a revamped and shortened HSBC World Rugby 7 series will take place in Cape Town this December. The South African leg of the series will return to the Cape Town Stadium from the 10th to the 12th of December after a COVID-enforced absence last year. The 2021 World Series will include 5 women's and 4 men's rounds and is scheduled to kick off in Paris with back-to-back women's tournaments this coming May. And on to football, a rather uneventful evening of football in the Premier Soccer League here locally as both fixtures ended in goalless draws. The match between Chippa United and Cape Town City FC ending 0-0 at the Sisa Dukashe Stadium. And that means the Citizens now remain 7th on the log, while the Chili Boys, they're sitting in 12th. And then in that second fixture last night, Golden Arrows and Baraka FC also playing out to a goalless draw in their PSL encounter at the Sugar Ray Xolo Stadium. Staying with the beautiful game, not many goals there as well in the UK. Manchester United registering, in fact, their 3rd successive goalless draw in all competitions after drawing 0-0 against Crystal Palace at Sellers Park. Red Devils are now 14 points adrift of log leaders Manchester City. Really do look like they are running away with it now. Now, the results from last night: 3rd place Leicester City claimed a 1-1 draw against Burnley. That was at Turf Moor. And then bottom of the table, Sheffield United produced the goods, surviving for more than 30 minutes with 10 men on the field to record only their 4th Premier League win, beating Aston Villa 1-0 in the process. And then the Premier League fixtures continue tonight with Fulham taking on Tottenham Hotspur, I'm sure wanting to capitalise on last night's results. That's at 8 p.m. And then the big one, Liverpool play host to old foes Chelsea. The late game kicking off at 10:15 tonight. That's a wrap of your sport for this Thursday morning. Let's take one last look at some of your beautiful sunrise pictures.
Thanks, G. Now let's wrap it up for you. All the sunrise pictures from this morning. And we started this morning with Letlogonolo Bridget from Nailstroom, who shared this lovely blue sky with some golden hues. It's poetic. And Mpumelelo Nka from Peter Maritzburg is showing off with this image received showing the sun rising through the trees. Thank you to Nick Lombard from Lourisfontein. He shared this stunning image of showing off contrasting colors in the sky. And last but not least, that is Umlimo Gregos Valkomers shared this cloudy morning. That was from Mafikeng. If you would like to see your photo featured during one of our segments, all you need to do is head over to the Expresso Facebook page to share your photo and your location with us. So while we love our local viewers, and we definitely do, we also need to acknowledge our growing international audience tuned in via YouTube and Africa channel. We end your weather update for the day with a shout out to any viewers tuned in from Salem, Oregon. It is the capital city of the U.S. state of Oregon. Rain is heaviest in late fall and throughout the winter. Almost all of the annual precipitation falls between October and May. Light snowfall occurs in winter, but major snows are rare. Today, you can expect a maximum of just 15 degrees Celsius and times of sun and rain this afternoon. Now, the annual spectacle in Navi, Mumbai city in India, is drawing bird watchers from all over to see Mumbai lakes turn into a sea of pink, as this is the time of the year when populations of great flamingos that breed in high-altitude lakes, which may freeze over in the winter, migrate to warmer areas. Thousands of flamingos have already arrived in Mumbai in their quest to find food and better nesting grounds, turning the lakes and wetlands of western India into an unforgettable sight. Flamingos they migrate through until the weather turns foul. So when the season is actually a mild one, they may not end up migrating at all. Now, due to global warming, their migration patterns appear to be getting shorter and shorter. This is one of the reasons why flamingo watchers are urging authorities to do more to ensure the annual migration pattern is not disturbed because of construction activity in the area. Let's take a final look at the temperatures from across the country. I'm going to start you off with Polokwane. 15 is the low in the area, and that's to a high of 29. Bombela, one better, with 30 the maximum from a low of 17 today. Pretoria, you are 18 this morning, 29 later. Johannesburg, 17 to 28, with a 25% chance of clouds and possibly precipitation. Mahikeng, 16 to 30 today for you. Klerksdorp, 16 to 31. Kimberley, the high there is 33. That's from a low of 18. Bloemfontein, 14 to 30. Richards Bay, 31 degrees later from a low of 19. Pietermaritzburg, 17 to 30, with a 40% chance of thunder showers. Durban, you are 22. That's to a high of 29. Mthatha, 40% chance of thunder showers for you as well. 30 the high. That is from a low of 17. East London, 19 to 25 today. Cradock, 14 is the low, and that's to a high of 34. Gqeberha, 18 to 24. George, 17 to 24. Cape Town, a high of 21 from a low of 17. Worcester is at a high of 29 today from a minimum of 14. The max in Sutherland is 24 from a low of 9 this morning. And top of the temperatures, once again, Uppington, you are 36 today, and that is from a low of 18. Thank you so much for sending your sunrise photos. I really appreciate them. Please keep them coming on the Expresso Facebook page. And that was your final weather report. From final weather, we go to the final frontier, where scientists have apparently made a black hole in a lab. Check it out.
Let's talk science for a moment, take you beyond the final frontier. Now, there is still so much to learn about black holes, which is why scientists have taken to creating their own black holes in their labs, which sounds like insanity. That's analogous black holes, that is, and science engagement astronomer from the observatory, Dr. Daniel Kahnemer, joins us to tell us all about this very interesting physical system and what is going on. Are they trying to destroy space and time as we know it? Dr. Dan, this is quite a scary topic for some reason for me. Maybe a good place to start is with what a black hole actually is. Never mind the analogous black hole. What is a black hole?
So basically what a black hole is it's a very, very dense area of space where generally a star has collapsed or it's the center of a galaxy and there's a lot of mass in a very small area. So much mass that not even light can escape. So the gravitational force from all of this mass is so strong that light isn't fast enough to escape. Now, if you think of the Earth, it has gravity. So if I throw a ball like that, it does a little loop, comes back down. That's because the Earth's gravity is pulling it back. If you throw a ball up fast enough, like a rocket, then it can escape Earth's gravity. So if we want to send a spacecraft out, send something to Mars, for example, it has to go faster than 11 kilometers per second. To escape a black hole, it has to go faster than the speed of light, which is why light can't escape. So that's what a black hole is.
I mean, my next question then would be why it's still so difficult, because we've heard of studies that have got to do with black holes, but now that you've explained it in the simplest terms of how fast it's got to go, I suppose that makes it really difficult to study. Is it even more difficult now to study, or have you made some sort of headway in that regard?
So because light can't escape from a black hole, they're very, very difficult to study, because if light can't escape, then essentially no information can escape. So we can't look at the inside of a black hole. What we can look at, and what we saw a few years ago, was this first photo of a black hole, which scientists managed to put together. And that wasn't the black hole itself, but rather the gas around the black hole. So for the first time, we got to see very close to the black hole what the gas around the black hole was doing as it fell into the black hole. So that we can learn about. But we can't really query the inside of a black hole and what's going on there, or very close to the sort of what is called the event horizon, which is basically the surface of the black hole, the point of no return.
This is the area that terrifies me now. Scientists observing and learning through creating their own analog black holes. What on earth is going on?
Yeah, it's a lot. So we can't create a black hole on Earth. It takes an incredible amount of mass in a very, very small space. We're looking at sort of the mass of our sun, smaller than that. So it's not something we can create on Earth, but we can create similar conditions. So in the same way that light can't escape a black hole, we can create a system where sound can't escape. And from that, we've got an analogous black hole. So it's the equivalent of a black hole, but for sound waves. And there we can start doing some studies.
Researchers at Technion, Israel Institute of Technology, they recently created a black hole in their lab to test a Stephen Hawking theory. Please tell us all about that and how that's going for them.
Basically, on the surface of a black hole, so at this event horizon, Stephen Hawking calculated that there would be a small amount of light, a small amount of emission coming off the surface of the black hole. Now, that's not something we can really observe in a real black hole. Obviously, they're very difficult to observe, and then they're surrounded by all of this gas. So to get this very faint light, to observe it is near impossible. But in an analogous black hole, the same thing should happen. So a small amount of sound waves should actually escape from this analogous black hole. And that's something which the scientists have observed. And it behaves in the exact same way as Hawking radiation would. So the analogy is really, really good at the moment. And this is the first time that this has been done, and it's quite exciting because now we can actually query what's going on in the physics of a black hole by building these sort of analogous ones.
How close are we to creating an actual black hole and playing around with gravity in that way?
Cool. I mean, you need very high energies, which we're not quite at yet. We're getting there, but you know, the scale of building a proper sort of black hole and the damage it would do, it's not something we're going to have.
We're not there yet.
We're not wanting that just yet.
In other words, time travel's not quite a thing yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Dr. Dan, thank you so much for as always, dumbing down something that was really complex to a point that I can understand it, and I'm really excited about breaking new ground in any area of science, whether it's science operating out in space or us recreating that as an analogy here on Earth. But what a cool concept. Thank you so much, man.
A pleasure, always.
That's Dan Kadima once again showing us and explaining to us how science is pushing the boundaries, how close we can get to the truth, right?
I love it.
I guess we'll have to keep our eyes peeled for the latest developments, and there always are developments in that space. Dr. Dan, thanks yet again for that space update.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast show. Expresso here on SABC3. Now, South Africa has incredible flora and fauna indigenous to our beautiful country. If we want to make sure we can still have these amazing species for our grandchildren to enjoy, supporting conservation efforts is key to their survival.
Indeed it is. Now, one organization that has been doing great work in protecting a bird that is quite unique to SA is the African penguin. And we got this latest scoop just before the lockdown started. Let's check it out.
The African penguin is quite unique because it is the only penguin species that breeds on the African coastline. The African penguin breeds from Namibia all the way down through the Western Cape and then up through the Eastern Cape as well.
For almost 50 years, SANCOB has been a champion of the well-being and conservation of African penguins. At their centre in Cape Town, they primarily treat and rehabilitate penguins, but care for other injured seabirds as well.
Unfortunately, the African penguin was reclassified as endangered in 2010. The numbers have decreased dramatically. In the 1900s, there was more than 1 million breeding pairs in the wild, and now they've whittled down to about 23,000 breeding pairs between Namibia and South Africa. So it's a huge cause for concern. Unfortunately, African penguins are under threat because they have to compete with the commercial fishing industries for their main prey items such as anchovy and sardines. And so the more that the commercial fishing industries fish these species, there's less food for seabirds, particularly African penguins. So when you think about penguins having to provision for their young and for themselves, that's really contributing to the decline of the species.
SANCCOB has treated nearly 100,000 seabirds since inception, and the primary goal is to ensure that wild colonies of endangered seabirds like African penguins can thrive and grow by rehabilitating birds back into their natural environment.
One of SANCCOB's functions is rehabilitation of seabirds, and I have Steve on my lap. Steve is actually a non-releasable penguin, and this is why I'm able to hold this bird and give it attention. You would not be able to do this with a wild African penguin. It would most probably bite you. But most of the species that we get in are injured, mostly sort of seal bite wounds or trauma that they've sustained by being hit against rocks and things like that. And we have a clinical veterinarian on site, and he's able to treat most of the birds that come in. So that's really where SANCCOB fits into the whole picture, is that we will work with conservation organizations who will rescue the birds from the colonies. They bring them to SANCCOB. We admit them, rehabilitate them, and release them back into the wild. So like any non-profit organization, funding is our biggest challenge. Operationally, it costs a significant amount to run this place every year, and our fundraising team have a huge task on their hands. In addition to that, we have received funding to expand our premises. The reason for expansion is because our current premises that we moved into back in the 80s are quite dilapidated, and they're really difficult and challenging to rehabilitate birds. So we were granted a significant portion of the money from the National Lotteries Board, which has helped enormously, but we have a shortfall of about 5 million rand. So there's a lot of fundraising effort that's undergoing now, trying to get that money together so that we can actually make this dream a reality.
The new Seabird Hospital will have a bigger wash bay, bigger bird pools, surgical rooms, an X-ray room, as well as a much-needed fish freezer to store food for the penguins, and they hope to have the facility built and launched in December.
The new facility is designed specifically for the birds. So there'll be 2 big penguin pools with hens attached to them, and a big aviary with a large sort of flying pool as well for larger seabirds. I've been involved in the design process from the beginning, so I'm very happy to see this sort of materializing now. And it's going to make sure that we can rehabilitate these birds in the best possible way. And I think the birds will benefit the most from the new center.
If you'd like to contribute to this amazing new Seabird Hospital, visit sancob.co.za and make a donation to support the conservation of our precious seabirds.
Ryle, I love seeing that, you know, because I feel like it's very easy for us as society to overlook the importance of conservation because we're so detached from nature and our animals.
So true. But now, even so much better is we've got the gents in studio, and they're going to be chatting to us live right now. And we've got a specialist that's going to be weighing in exactly what the importance is of penguins in our environment, and some awesome facts to go along with it too.
Yeah, this one might be specifically for Tubbsy, just so he can get those facts down today. But we are loving the fact that we are reveling in our wildlife, and sea wildlife makes a big part of our most valuable natural resource. Yesterday was World Wildlife Day, but we can always use another excuse to celebrate the humble penguin, our most adorable feathered friends. In fact, they have a scientific name to describe their cuteness, and it's called charismatic megafauna. How cool is that?
It is cool. Don't forget how they laugh, eh? It's important. Now, we've got somebody who knows all about it, media communications executive from the Two Oceans Aquarium, Renee Luna, joining us to tell us about the importance of penguins, how they laugh, and their environment, and some cool, interesting facts. Renee, welcome.
Hi, now you've made me laugh so much. I'm going to follow up on that.
Oh man, we love it. We are really enjoying today because it gives us an excuse to focus on what I've said many times this morning is our most treasured natural resource, our wildlife.
Yeah.
And in particular, in that, we love African penguins. But we also get to talk about the lesser-known rockhopper penguin today, both found, of course, at the Two Oceans Aquarium. So what are their official scientific names?
You guys always do this to me. So the African penguins are Symmestus demarsus, and the rockhopper penguins are Eudiptes moselei. The African penguins, I can tell you, is named because it actually means diving disc.
Okay.
So they look like I presume they look like a disc when they're diving. And then the rockhopper penguins is Mosley's, I think his name was Mosley's little penguins. But just to clarify, so your African penguins are found on the African continent here in southern Africa, from Namibia all the way to Algoa Bay. And then the rockhopper penguins, those ones with the yellow feathers on their heads that everyone really adores as well, they are found on Goch and Tristan da Cunha Islands.
Fascinating stuff. Now that we know all of those words that I feel like we've just forgotten, and we'll have to ask you about it later, let's get to know up close and personal. It's like a first date with these penguins. What do they eat and what eats them?
So penguins tend to eat fatty fish, so sardines and anchovies. They also eat crustaceans, and some of your bigger species, they love krill. And all of this obviously makes them predators. People don't think of penguins as predators, but they are. And then on the other side, what eats them? They are prey to seals, orcas, sharks, anything bigger than them that wants to eat a bird, unfortunately.
Yeah, the sea is a dangerous place, as we know, but it's also a great place for humans to take some lessons. And an interesting fact about the African penguin, obviously apart from the fact that penguins pair up and mate for life, which is beautiful, is that both mother and father actually share responsibility in looking after the unhatched egg. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
So they do take this shared responsibility, and what we see at the aquarium quite often is that the males become quite territorial and very protective over their nests and their mates, and the males and the females incubate the egg, and once the chick is hatched, both of them look after the baby. So they go out and find food and come back and feed the babies. So it is a joint raising of the chicks.
Equality is important. We can learn something from the animal kingdom. And apparently this is actually why humans have decoded the language of African penguins, to not only learn from them and get tips, but we can also learn to understand what they're actually saying. So tell us a bit more about how we've tried to decode African penguin language.
So for a very long time, we have actually known that each of their calls means something very specific. And then scientists started doing research onto what they mean. So some of them means, some of the calls mean like, get away from me. You're too close. Others mean, come closer, I want you close. Others mean a baby calling its mother and saying, Mom, I'm hungry, or you know, things like that. And then, quite recently, scientists realized that penguins actually communicate underwater as well through clicks.
Wow.
And that is amazing, because when they have a prey ball that they are going after, they can take turns. And they do this by making a click and saying, I'm next. Don't go, I'm next, you know? And then on top of that, they've also found that penguins chatter, like you and I are talking, they do that too.
And then when one penguin says something funny, the other penguins go,
and then the clicks.
Some amazing facts indeed. They've made me love this incredibly gorgeous creature even more. Stay with us. We're going to be learning even more about these ocean ambassadors, if you will, in just a moment.
Welcome back. Yes, welcome back. Otherwise and anyway, if you're only joining us now, welcome. We're talking about penguins, adorable ambassadors of the ocean in celebration of World Wildlife Day.
Now, media and communications executive from the amazing Two Oceans Aquarium, Renee Leona, now joins us via Zoom to chat more about the importance to the environment when it comes to these gorgeous little creatures that are unfortunately at massive risk at the moment. Renee, we love you. We love the work that you do. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Let's continue to chat penguins, man.
Indeed. So we've heard about species, rockhopper penguins as well. You've given us the scientific names, which we are still Googling. But what role do penguins play in the environment or ecosystem, and why are they vitally important?
So you guys have actually already touched on quite a few of those points. And I've also mentioned that they are predators. So when you look at an ecosystem, you prey and you need predators, and you need those two to work together to keep the ecosystem in check. And without top predators, you end up with a broken ecosystem. And there you go, charismatic megafauna, which is vitally important for the marine ecosystem. But on top of that, so we like penguins. We all like penguins. We all have this thing for penguins. And we also all like pandas. I don't know how many of you guys have seen pandas, but when you see a panda, you want to look after it. And it's the same with penguins. So what you've said about being ambassadors to the species is so important, because people want to look after what they love. And when you love a penguin, you want to look after it. So they create the conservation message. And when you conserve one species, so like when you conserve a panda, you're also conserving the environment that it occurs in. So when you conserve the penguins, you're also conserving the environment and the other animals within that environment. And that is very, very important.
Well, more important now than ever before when I talk about the IUCN Red List that classifies African penguins now sadly as endangered and notes that their population is rapidly, and I stress rapidly, declining with no indication of improvement. That is heartbreaking. So for those who don't know, what is in fact the IUCN Red List, and what is the cause of this rapid decline in penguin population?
Okay, so to start off with, the IUCN Red List is an international list where species are assessed and species population numbers, and they are classified in a number of categories, from least concerned or even data deficient to critically endangered. So you've heard various animals being classified within those categories. And so at the aquarium, this is March, and we are calling it March of the Penguin because people need to know that penguins are endangered, African penguins are endangered, and in the last decade or so, so from the 1900s, in the early 1900s, you would have found at least a million penguins on the islands around the southern African coast. These days, we're looking at less than 20,000 breeding pairs. So that's 40,000 birds. Wow. Plus a couple of other birds that aren't breeding. So their numbers have declined so dramatically because of historical egg collection, the fact that there are guano collection and everything around that. And then also when new colonies are established, Boulders Beach, Dye Island, and Robben Island are new colonies. And when those colonies are being established, there's a huge drop-off in numbers of penguins from all around. So like almost a quarter of the population go. And they make these new colonies because they need food. And unfortunately, at this stage, there's nowhere for these penguins to go to find new food. Their food source is basically depleted.
Wow.
So, Renee, you know, we love penguins. We've watched Happy Feet. We've seen it. They've become very enduring to us at the Two Oceans Aquarium as well. I think what we need to hear from you is how can we help these animals and prevent their extinction? If you could give us some tips and pointers as to how we can assist them, we'd love to know.
Be responsible. When you are eating fish, eat responsibly and sustainably sourced fish. Make sure that your pets are eating food that have either no fish in it or responsibly sourced fish food. Do look at the chicken that you eat, because a lot of poultry is fed on fish meal. And just tell people, learn about why these penguins are endangered, and then tell people that they can make a difference. Use less plastic for the pollution aspect. Just be a responsible human being on this planet.
Thank you so much, Renee. I know this is a message you preach every day, so thank you so much for your efforts. Absolutely awesome to connect with you, and great getting to know the quirks and behaviors of this very quirky little bird. Look at him waddling away. The rockhopper certainly steals the show for me. Great ambassadors for the animal kingdom, and an opportunity for all of us, I think, to rally to the cause. And I would suggest you do that by supporting penguin rehabilitation at SANCOB. You can visit sancob.co.za. And most importantly, latch onto that sassy green list, and you can get all of the details at www.fsassy.co.za. Make sure that you buy responsibly, because that's where it all starts.
Yes, yeah, he is, of course. And in celebration of World Wildlife Day, we thought to get more of our viewers out in the wild and ready with gear that will enhance your safari experience. Now, a few pioneering safari camps are implementing new technology to deliver an experience that's better for their guests as well as the planet too, which I absolutely love. Nature Boy approves. Now, Grant Hines is here to join us, and he's talking about all the tech and the future-facing innovations that we've got in the wildlife. How are you doing this morning, brother?
I'm great. You know, we should actually do a tech insert on a hike at some point with you.
Yes.
Because you're always on the mountain.
Zanzi, that's a deal. Myself and Grant, we're going to make something happen. So what's happening when it comes to tech? Because obviously wildlife, it's important to sustain, conserve, and everything that we're doing has an impact. So how are we reducing that at the moment, Grant?
So in safari camps, and when people go on safari, there's new technologies that are being implemented which are really exciting. The first one is solar-powered cars. And one of the reasons, obviously, solar power is the thing that, you know, it's more fuel efficient, it's better for the environment around you, but it's also silent. So when you are game watching, you want to make sure that you don't make a lot of noise, you want to see as many animals as possible, and having a silent vehicle is better for your game viewing experience.
True. Literally, game drivers will have to have tactical approaches into the wind to avoid scent, to avoid noise, and a lot of things like that. So that's actually brilliant. That means you could potentially get closer to the scene and get closer to the magic, right? Without actually disturbing it too.
Exactly. The next one is solar-powered camps.
Okay.
Now, I know that there are a lot of these camps in the middle of the bushveld are like, you know, they're disconnected from everything else. And I know you love that. I don't. I like to have some form of connection at all times.
The wildlife and fiber would be the perfect combo for you, eh?
No, give me wildlife fiber, no spiders. Then we're talking. But so these camps are self-sustaining solar-powered camps that can then charge devices or GPSs or the technology that you have there at the camp. It's not just like gas and skottelbrais, it's the ability to have all this new technology and that you can take with, because people are taking photographs on game drives with their mobile phones.
Yeah.
And you want to be out in the wilderness for, you know, a week, like have a place that can actually be self-sustaining, and that's where these solar power.
I think it's so brilliant. At the same time, especially in Mzansi, we're blessed with a lot of sun. It's like an abundant free resource. Why are we not utilizing it more? That's absolutely brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, I'm glad, especially on a game drive. You're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
The next thing is night vision, which is really exciting. Because night vision, when you go, have you been on a game drive before?
Yeah.
Okay. For those of you who've been on game drives, I know a lot of South Africans have been, and it is something I do recommend. I only recently went on my first game drive.
Where was it?
It was in Kruger, but I can't remember which gate or whatever.
Everybody needs to see a game drive, especially when you're in this country.
You know what? I have a really firm belief that it is our heritage. And other countries around the world have destroyed their heritage, and they come and visit ours. And we've had the foresight to look after it. And we need to continue. If you're a kid at school, if you are a teenager, if you're going into industry, we need to instill this, that this is one of our most precious contributions to the rest of the world. Other people have art galleries and old buildings, whatever. We've got living creatures that we've looked after, and that's our heritage. And that's what we get. And we can share that by going on these games.
Couldn't agree with you more, man. Grant, I love what you're saying. So night vision, is that that going to allow me as a consumer to literally see at night?
So you're seeing at night, a lot of predators are out in the wild at night. And if you go on a game drive at night, there's usually like big lights that they direct at animals. You know, that's obviously disruptive to the environment and obviously distracting for the animals. So night vision allows you to mitigate that. You can just have it on for yourself and see it, which is really good.
So all of these tech, this idea, it's going to help me, the consumer, the viewer, be able to engage and have a better experience at the end of the day. What happens when it comes to protecting, though? Because yes, we're viewing it, we're enjoying it, but on the other side of this, we need to sustain it and protect it. What is tech doing in that sense?
So from a protection standpoint, AI is actually playing a huge role. So there's a lot of surveillance in and around the parks that try to protect against poaching. Poachers are trying to take advantage of our heritage. This is why it's such a huge problem for us. It's one of our strongest resources that we have, and they're coming and taking it away and obviously like abusing these animals. So what we do is we have these cameras that are set around the park that are identifying what's in the image. And artificial intelligence is identifying what is a poacher, what kind of weapons they are they supposed to be in a park at a certain period of time, and it's allowing faster response times for anti-poaching crew because they can see, oh wait, we're not expecting somebody at this location and we can do it, and less incorrect calls. Traditional surveillance means that you have to manually check out that stuff and go like make a call, and you can be a lot slower. So we are kind of speeding up the militarization of combating these poachers, and there's a huge it's really hectic. There's a lot of weaponry, a lot of technology goes into killing animals, and you've got to literally counter it with technology.
I'm loving what I'm hearing, and it's so good to see tech being used for something so positive, so green, and of course for something that we absolutely love. And what you're saying about it being somewhat of a commodity and such a big resource, I think everybody in Mzansi, you guys listening at home and the rest of the world, let us protect the beauty that we have in this country. It's rare, it's not potentially going to last for long, and we need to make the most that we can to ensure that our future and the rest of our generations can enjoy all this magic. Thank you so much, Grant.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You are live with Expresso as we continue to celebrate World Wildlife Day. And of course, that was officially celebrated yesterday on the 3rd of March, but we're going to continue that celebration of our beautiful wildlife and our heritage and everything we find in nature. So we've decided to play a little game of Know Your Collectives, the Animal Edition, which is awesome. And how it works is you will see on the board 8 words of collectives alongside animals. You can see that on the board, gents. Yeah. Okay. It's making you nervous. Okay, let's see how perfect you really are. The 5 in studio. You will need to pair the 2 together, and once you have gotten it matched correctly, I will then explain why they pair together. So I have the answers here. None of them I knew beforehand. So you guys, it's going to be tough.
Parliament.
Exactly. And it's animals, a parliament of animals, not anything else. Okay, so I'm going to go from word to word, and we're just going to see where we go. All right, so we're going to start with the word bloom. Any guesses there which animal or insect comes in a collective of a bloom. Is it a zebra, a bloom of zebras? That sounds crazy.
Definitely not.
Guys?
A bloom of wildcats?
No.
You think? What's pretty? What looks pretty when you see it walking on a little flower?
Maybe geese? Maybe geese, no?
Would be a good guess. Would be a good guess, but it's not.
It's not?
It's
Ladybird.
Ladybird, there we go.
I had to help you. So draw us a line there from bloom to ladybird. No pressure. Very cute, eh?
It's cute, Alex.
Come on, man. I thought that was a great line. Somebody who can draw a perfect circle or a straight line is crazy. You know that. That's crazy. Okay, so let's move on to our next word. This one you should know, guys. This is actually one I did know. A gaggle. What do you get? A gaggle of?
A gaggle of zebra.
What? No.
I think it's... Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, I know. Every teacher you've ever had is just shaking the head.
A gaggle of geese?
Gaggle of geese it is. Alex, give us the line. Well done. So when geese get together, they can get quite noisy and quite rowdy, which is why they call it a gaggle. Okay, really nice. An interesting word before we move on with a bloom. A giant cloud appeared on a new NWS weather satellite, and after a bit of investigation, it turned out that it actually happened to be thousands of little red and black insects at flight at the same time, and it stretched for 10 miles. Could you imagine seeing that? That's a lot of ladybirds. So that's why we call it a bloom. Okay, let's move on to a dazzle. Oh, what dazzles you? Oh, zebra. Boom. Hey, did you actually know that? Or was
Yeah. No, I knew that, actually.
Really, man? You must do all the answering from now on.
No.
Draw it, man. Draw it. Some zoologists think zebras use their stripes as camouflage, in fact, to confuse predators. So when they get together in a big group, obviously those lines merge, and they obviously make it really hard to pick out the individuals. This one, I think, is actually quite simple when you think about it. A bloat. A bloat.
Hippos.
Oh, hippos. Reason why they are called a bloat, because they have something to do with their large bloated bodies.
Yes.
Perhaps.
Oh, yes.
Draw the line, man. Draw the line. Well done. Hey? Well done, guys. You're learning something. Please, you must remember these and use them in conversation. People say you look really, really intelligent. Okay, this one is probably the most interesting of the lot.
Yes.
A parliament. What animal comes in a collective of a parliament? That's quite stately.
Owl? Owl, yeah. It is owl.
It is an owl. It is. Did you know that? Or is that just...
No, it is owl.
Did you study like zoology or biology? So yes, it is. In fact, a parliament of owls. They are typically considered to be quite intelligent and wise. Are these things that we would attach to parliament? In ancient Greek mythology, the owl was seen to accompany or represent Athena, the goddess of wisdom, in fact. So you can draw a line from parliament to owl. Well done. Now, this one is quite cool. A confusion of band members, I'm going to say. It's a confusion of band members. So now, obviously, your answers are starting to become a bit more limited.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it a confusion of wildcats, a confusion of wildebeest, or a confusion of giraffe? What do you think?
Wildebeest.
Wow. And I'm not giving you all answers here, or come on, Mr. Zoology.
Wildcats or wildebeest?
What do you give me an answer? Come on, man. What do you think?
Wildebeest.
Because they are wild. It is indeed. It's a confusion of wildebeest due to the noise and the confusion that happens when these animals get together and migrate. If you've seen the Great Migration, it's insane. So you can draw a line there, Alex. Well done. Confusion of wildebeest. This one kind of gives it away.
Yes,
A tower of
giraffe.
Giraffe. It has to be. Draw a line, and of course we know they are they're incredibly long necks that are very much resembling a tower, which means it's a destruction of wildcats. Your mascot animal.
I'm so glad this game is done.
I think you guys did actually incredibly well. So wild or feral cats who don't live with humans can be quite territorial. They fight like mad, and they are known to really punch above their weight class, and they can be very destructive. destructive, so they are a destruction of wildcats. Hey, now guys, you can use these in conversation and appear to be so much more intelligent than you actually are. That's what I'm going to do. That's the secret to the show. I just take what the expert before I interviewed said, and then I pass it on as my own intellectual property. But gentlemen, there we have it. The collectives of these animals. Maybe you guys have picked up something that you didn't know at home. Gentlemen, you've been amazing. You were almost as good as this game as you were performing for us this morning. But we cannot wait to see the boys perform one more time for you at home. And hopefully you've taken on board just more of how amazing the resource, our natural resource of our wildlife actually is.
Woo, okay, lots of learning there when it comes to our wildlife, but very interesting stuff. Ilham Anwar, my husband, what was your book? My Hungry Husband. Did you learn anything about the animals?
I did.
It's very interesting. I learned everything, Graham. Thank you so much for that. Class in session, though, in the kitchen right now to help you out when it comes to making a cake. Because, you know, baking a cake can be a daunting task for some, right? Not even just some. For a lot of people, it can be very, very scientific, very technical. And chef and co-founder of popular food blog, my favorite, actually, My Hungry Husband, Ilham Anwar, joins us in the kitchen here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show to share another great recipe for the quickest and the easiest chocolate cake. It's a fantastic recipe because this cake recipe is known as the crazy recipe or the crazy cake. And the reason for that is because it doesn't use any milk, you don't need any butter, you don't need any eggs for it. Everything gets mixed in the pan it bakes in, and you don't even need any other equipment other than a whisk or a fork. That is all you need.
Yeah.
And we're about to do that. You're about to show us how to do that. I like this because this is the cake for somebody on the move.
Yes, and it's great because you can be vegan if you don't do the ganache, you know, and you make another icing, but I'll tell you more about that
well,
later.
you must definitely school me on that.
So this cake, I can't take credit for it. It actually originated in the 1930s at the Great Depression. So when, you know, things like milk, butter, and eggs were scarce and expensive. This was a really affordable way of having dessert or like a treat.
Well, I've always wondered what they did for cake, because anyone will tell you from the food team here at Expresso is that I really do love my sweet treats, and I always wonder, what do you do when it comes to cake in the absence of all those things?
Exactly.
Wow.
So this is a really great recipe that you can make at home with just your like store cupboard ingredients.
Yes.
You know, you don't need anything special. So we've got some flour in the bowl, and I'm just going to add my dry ingredients in here. So I've got some sugar that I'm going to add in.
Great.
Some cocoa, and then some bicarbonate of soda and some salt.
What does that do?
Now the bicarb is what kind of does the magic with the vinegar, and that's what makes the cake rise.
I've seen when we've done those experiments here in the kitchen. Okay, so that's great. So your dry ingredients are in there. Listen, in fact, if you want to bake along with us and you want the recipe to this cake, maybe go onto our website, expressoshow.com. I promise you there are tons of recipes there, but this one is there with all of the ingredients you're going to need, the very few ingredients you're going to need.
Okay, so I just whisked this to try and get, you know, everything nice and evenly combined.
Can I help you with anything?
Oh, I'm going to get you to make the ganache. So why don't you take this cream and just pour it over.
Okay, cool.
Pour it over the chocolate. Yes, I do.
Okay, cool. So we've got some cream going into the chopped pieces of chocolate. We're using dark chocolate here?
Yes, and remember with ganache, you pretty much do like equal amounts of cream and chocolate. So you can do milk chocolate if you like.
Okay.
And then
I prefer milk chocolate, I have to say.
And then like you said earlier, we're making this all in one bowl.
Yes.
So we're just going to make little indents to put all of our ingredients in. So we've got our.
Why are you doing it like that?
That's what the recipe said to do. So I'm just trusting the recipe.
Because the 1930s people, they know best.
Yes, they knew what was going on. So I've got the oil, the vanilla, and the vinegar in here, and then I've got about I think it's a cup of coffee that's cooled down. So it's very important that you actually cool down your coffee.
I can already almost smell and feel and taste all of those flavors coming through of the chocolate, of the coffee together. I mean, that is magic in your mouth.
And that's literally just it, and that's your cake batter done.
Stunning. Okay, so I'm done here. What do I do next?
Just keep on mixing until
Okay. Until you say stop.
Until all the chocolate is dissolved.
Okay, cool.
And then this mixture, once I've whisked it and just gotten all of the lumps out, we're going to pour into our cake tin that's already been prepared.
Yeah.
So it's got some wax paper and it's been greased. You can also, if you've got like a nice dish or something, just spray and cook it. Then you don't even have to take the cake out.
Oh, because then
you can
it's
just
there, you
put
just
the
go,
dish.
boop.
On the table.
Does your husband actually now help you in the kitchen, or has he just remained hungry?
No, he does. He's actually really great. We share a lot of things.
Yeah?
So if I cook, then he will help with, washing up.
So what I'm doing now, would this typically be the thing that your husband does when you guys are making cake, for example, or maybe not necessarily, just washing the dish?
No, I usually, the first time I made this, it was a surprise because I generally don't bake cakes and things like that. I usually just make, easy things like muffins or cupcakes.
The everyday stuff.
Yeah, and this cake, the reason why I love it so much is because I don't need to take out a mixer.
You don't need much.
I don't need a hand mixer. I don't need equipment.
That is what we're teaching everyone. You don't need much for this cake. Go on our website, expressoshow.com. It's on there. Woo,
and then
Mrs. Anwar?
180 degrees for 20 minutes until
and
it's
then
done.
It's done. Love it. Why don't you make this at home and then send us pictures? We'd like to see everybody getting involved with it. That's what the final product looks like. We have drizzled some goodness all over it when it's done, and it is ready to be served to perfection. When your guests do rock up, I can tell you now it's going to be a crowd pleaser of note. You rock! You rock! Thank you.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Molweni. Before we say goodbye, we've got one more performance from local band Perfect Fifth lined up for you, and it's one you're sure to never forget. Here they are again with their song Unforgettable.
I'm looking deep into your eyes. I feel your love, my mind is racing. I can never find words to describe. Something about your vibe is making me feel like your love's got a hold on me. And you know how it feels. It's unforgettable. Come on. It's unforgettable. Oh, you make my heart beat double time. When you get close, my knees be shaking. I can can never find words to describe. So I'll sing it like this, girl. You're making me feel like, oh, your love's got a hold on me. You know how it feels, yeah. It's unforgettable. Hey. Come on. It's unforgettable. Hey. It's unforgettable. Hey. Unforgettable. Hey. It's unforgettable.
Can we sit down?
No.
Please. I need to catch my breath. The perfect fifth. Please take a bow because you have done something stunning. Woo!
Yes!
Watch this band. Man, the soul, the level of cool there.
Yes.
Where's our perfect fifth? Where's Ryle?
Where's our perfect
Ryle!
Yeah.
We can't be perfect
Come on,
fifth
boy.
without
Ryle,
you.
I was so caught up jamming to these guys. I'm like, what are we actually working?
It's nature show. We can't do nature show without
Yeah.
nature boy. Thank you so much to all of the experts, the photographers, all of the amazing people who have contributed to our exploration of wildlife today.
Yeah.
Celebrating World Wildlife Day, which was yesterday.
Yeah.
But obviously taking a firm focus today. Boy, are we lucky to have the wild that we live in here in South Africa. So appreciate that.
Tomorrow, Prime Circle, a live
where you going, lad?
with Ryle.
Yeah, I'm literally jumping on a plane right now, heading to Joburg, because I'm doing a live crossing with Prime Circle tomorrow.
Okay.
We're going to
tell
bring
Ross we
all
say we
the
love him,
fire.
man.
Yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow. Adios.
We love you. Mwah. Bye, God.
Make the most of glorious summer with your picnic favorites. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.